take us through the action to none other than Kilios and Wolf.
Well, shucks, thank you, Golden Boy, for the kind words. I am indeed Achilleos, and joining me yet again is Wolf, and it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty Group B, the last one that we have to figure out. And there's a lot of pressure on not just Denmark coming into this one, want to take that first place seed going into the playoff stage, but also on Thailand, who are waiting backstage watching this match, because any win for Denmark will cut Thailand out of playoff contention.
That's right. So they're cheering for France back there for sure to make sure they have the best.
So I got like a frog in my throat for a second there.
Worried for Thailand, getting stressed out for sure, as they are, of course, backstage watching this upcoming match. This match doesn't just matter for these two teams, but of course for the Thai team backstage. You know, as Flame mentioned, I feel like the duel between Soon and Craigie on the Tracer is going to be a really exciting one. Might see some more Attack Bastion as well. This is what I know a lot of fans are waiting for this series, but France has looked to be the more dominant team overall, taking the 4-0 over Argentina. So they are the favorites coming into this one, but I feel like we've seen more flexibility out of Denmark throughout the end of their series against Argentina yesterday, running more 2-2-2, not necessarily always the triple DPS. Lin's finally showing some Sombra, so I think the team has evolved throughout this group stage.
Yeah, and flexibility is something that's going to be key. If you guys were watching the Apex Season 3 at the start, one of the big reasons why Rogue wasn't able to make it out of that group stage is because they were not flexible, really kind of almost refused to play anything other than their triple DPS. They didn't want to swap and to try and play against their opponents, and they really suffered for that, fell out of the group stage, didn't even get to go into the round of 8, but now back on top, have been dominant coming off that win versus Immortals at the Beat Tournament. Now here looking very strong in Shanghai, and they want to go ahead and ride that momentum all the way through into the playoffs.
And of course, France is the most pure World Cup pro team, right? That's why they're jokingly called Frogue, FR Rogue, because they're France and Rogue combined. The full French roster is being brought here, so they have so much competitive experience, so much LAN experience with this roster itself, as you mentioned, playing in online tournaments. But the Apex there is, a stage like this with a lot of fans, a lot of people cheering for them, a lot of expectations. So Denmark, not to say that they do not have that same LAN experience, they definitely do, talking about going back to Copenhagen games and things like that, but France has been the more successful pro team overall. But they shouldn't, of course, rest on their laurels and their experience here. They have to take Denmark very seriously because they want that first seed. They do not want to face off against China, who's undefeated currently in groups.
Yeah, definitely not. Everybody wants to avoid China right now. That is going to be the big boss to beat, the David and Goliath story. So if you can kind of write yourself out of that one, that's definitely the path you want to take. So Denmark is going to have to put on one hell of a performance if they're going to pick up that win. Avoid that matchup, because otherwise things are looking very good for China going into the playoffs, and then also potentially Rogue, who are going up against, would be going up against Norway as that first place seed out of B. So they want to go ahead, set that stage for themselves, get those, I don't want to say weaker opponents. That sounds unfair, especially for Norway, who have been doing a very great job so far. But they want the less stiff opposition.
Yeah, I mean, results speak for themselves, right? So when you see the team that's dominating as untouched, the massive 12-0 there for China, that's the scary one. That's the one you don't want to face, especially here on their home ground, right? So looks like we are getting set up for our first map here. It's not quite set up and ready yet, but of course we will be going into hybrid for our first map type.
Yeah, just want to get everything squared away, make sure the players are ready. And it looks like they indeed are. So let's go ahead and figure out what the map is going to be as we get ready to load it up.
All right, looks like we're going to show that map now.
Looks like it's finally ready. Apparently not.
All right, let's show it now. Where we're headed here for hybrid. It will be Hollywood, in fact, yet again, an old French favorite here.
All right. We'll be moving over to Hollywood. And I mean, something that was talked about on the desk was, the concerns here for Team France. The pharmacy is something that we could see. Denmark haven't really been running that, but this is a map, especially on point A, where it could come out, can very heavily impact that point A and allow for those very fast takes.
Yeah, it would be a very risky composition to run, but it's a surprise tactic we've seen a lot of the time. I think the bigger concern for that one is going to come into when we get to control. If they want to hide it, I would say save it for that one, but it's a tactic that should definitely be considered by France here that Denmark might run out.
It's the Norway trying that one out here on Hollywood, looking to counter the dive from their opponents, but they were unpleasantly surprised to find a Sombra on the enemy team, so didn't really work out for them. But we know Rogue, we know that they like dive, so Pharmacy would make a heck of a lot of sense here for Denmark. if they did want to run it, but at the moment, nobody hovering over that Pharah.
Not at this moment in time. It will be the attack first for Denmark, and France will be on the defense. So
Some weird playing cards. They don't even have numbers on them.
Yeah, I'm not
suits.
entirely sure what that... Maybe this is just one of those things where you test to see if someone's psychic, or they see the heart, the star, the spade.
Perhaps.
All right,
Hearthstone card back on it.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe some new expansion that hasn't been released yet. We don't know.
Oh, they're putting the sneak peeks here in Overwatch, I guess. Blizzard playing the meta game with their different franchises. But here we go. On the attack, it's going to be Denmark pushing forward on the red side, working their way over towards this first point. Will be that triple DPS coming through as Fisher is back on that. Soon to be namesake soldier, you have to say, has had some star-studded performances so far throughout the tournament.
Yeah, I'm not going to be running the D.Va this time. We'll see if he sticks with it throughout this series, because showing a lot more D.Va yesterday. And already, this is a great start here for Denmark. Nerf getting the damage done here. Nox just trying to buy time, trying to survive here, but will be taken out. Gravity showing great tracking. And Denmark already going to grab this first take. Because this was taken so quickly, unfortunately, France doesn't have any ultimates to delay time. And this may just be a very quick capture here. They have time to come back.
Yeah, the first tick comes through. Second tick looking like it's going to happen here for the side of Denmark. We'll go ahead and get that. And still going to be going up for it. France should have time for a last-second contest. You can see soon we'll be dashing in onto the point. Pulse bomb comes through, but it will be eaten. AKM just snatching that one up for himself. And Wins is going to be the first one that goes down. Nico also traded off here as Fisher. Fires away with the soldier, but he's going to lose his life as Nox finds a double kill. Craggy still dashing around, offering DPS from the backside here, trying to get these flank spots. Does find Nox, now looking for Unco, but we know that Unco can very well come out on top of these trades, but not this time. Craggy popping off here for his squad, will take down AKM. And almost single-handedly get this cap here over for Denmark. So very swift with 5 minutes on the clock as we enter into the streets phase. Denmark showing some prowess.
Yeah, definitely so. And as Flame was wondering earlier, one of the exciting parts of the series is Craggy versus Soon. And Craggy is definitely getting the better ends of the trade so far. And Denmark basically did this with no ultimates. They're actually about to have 6 together here for this streets phase. So a nice ult advantage in France. Sticking with what they know, but unfortunately so far so unsuccessful. And look at this, Nico's already taken out with another pulse bomb.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nico. That deflect will not save you from the pulse bomb explosion. Throws that up and just goes down. Now Discord Orb in onto Nox, who did pop that Primal Rage. He's going to go ahead and eject himself away from that payload, try to keep himself alive. They're chasing in, looking for him. Goes dangerously low. Can they get the kill is going to be the question. Too much damage coming through here onto Craggy, so he will go ahead and back out. But the payload already moving up pretty darn far, you'd have to say.
Craggy with the performance of a lifetime right now, just the insane tracking, trying to find these squishy members repeatedly, even just building pulse bombs, looking for Unco now this time in the back, actually finds him. Tranquility is up, and he's going to get the pick here, you have to imagine. Down it goes.
Yeah, self-destruct coming through, not really going to find anything there for the side of AKM, but it's still just the kills coming through for Denmark. Craggy will fall as Nico hunts him down, but Krytox finds Soon. It's the dash through, now looking for Nox, will have it in the payload. Still going to be moving forward. AKM now going to be the target. Discord Orb comes through, he's going to get popped out of the mech to poop away, just to make sure that he's not contending the payload so he can keep moving forward. And Denmark are making record time right now on Hollywood.
Just feels like France is struggling to deal with this dive, especially of Craggy. Krytox doing a decent job as well, but it's more Craggy. And we're going to try to use this Transcends to deny this push.
Going in for this one, that's the sound barrier thrown down here. Fisher going to get jumped on by that dragon-bladed Nico, but the Helix Rockets will finish him off. And even with the Transcendence engaged, France are still going to be the one suffering at the end of the fight. AKM yet again will be the last one to go down, and that is just going to be point B over to Denmark. 4:40 remaining on the clock.
Crazy strong push for them coming out. Look at this. They are just dominating. Now even trying to stagger the spawns further on the chase, and France is falling to pieces left and right, and Craggy holds onto that pulse bomb. He is just finding targets over and over again. AKM switching back to the soldier, but I don't know if this is really going to be the right choice. Strong here, of course, on the high ground, but no protection from the D.Va. When Craggy comes in, they're having so much trouble, so the D.Va could be the better option here, but he's confident with the soldier, and they will push Denmark back, at least for this stage.
Yeah, I mean, we already saw the one consumption on that pulse bomb at the beginning of this map here for AKM, so moving with free from the D.Va, potentially a bit of a detriment here for them. The Dragon Blade will now be coming through here from the side of Krytox, looking for some kills, but the sound barrier is there from France to answer. Nox going dangerously low, gets the Primal Rage off in time to keep himself alive, but is in the backside of the fight, surrounded by enemies, so he just has to leap back here to the safety of his squad. Still going low, jumps back down, keep himself alive for the moment. Going 40 yet again, has the bubble and buy a little bit of time, but Craggy and Fisher are both there. They just cut him down soon, following very shortly thereafter as the Helix Rockets do get the connection. Nico That's that nice little reflect, at least to trade back 1 kill, but still, Denmark in these skirmishes, they're all over the place with the Winston's leaping back and forth. They are still coming out on top.
AKM looks really frustrated. You can see the camera shot here, taken out very late there, but it was really the survivability of Fischer, the extra protection brought there by Nerfed, and also just the pressure that Craggy's putting onto these backlines, shutting Nico down so many times. We've barely seen any Dragon Blades out of the side of France because Craggy is just getting these kills.
Well, Nico coming through here with the Dragon Blade, but yet again, that's going to be the sound barrier out to answer. They're trying to keep everybody topped up. Can't quite get that final slice in onto Kelix, which certainly would have taken down the Lucio. And in the meantime, Denmark are still just coming up huge with these kills. Nerf will be traded back. That gets rid of that tanky frontline here for Denmark, allowing some access to the squishier targets. But you can see they're just riding this one through. The Boopin comes down. Can they get the tag? Yes, they do. Unco able to get back onto the payload, but Nox goes down right off the bat as the pulse bomb comes through. AKM trading one back here onto Krytox, looking for a bit more as Unco fires away, trying to keep everybody topped off, trying to get some hits in onto this very elusive Lucio, but he is still going to go down. Craggy just wreaking havoc with this Tracer time and time again. Sound barrier now down here for France, trying to buy some more time, trying to get that rollback going on the payload because it's just 0.54 meters left to go. Denmark, they will go ahead, concede the fight, but they still have 2 minutes to push this just a couple inches.
I feel like AKM on the Soldier here might not be the way to go because he's just simply not able to have the space to find damage with the crazy good dive coming out from Denmark. Fischer even adding some extra pressure in there. And even though there's no D.Va on the side of Denmark, he just can't get the kills, and it's really Craggy that's carrying this. They're going to go for another push here with the sound barrier active.
Sound barrier does come through here. Nox still up in the front line, and Nico draws out the Dragon Blade, finds Fischer right off the bat, but already AKM and Unco have been taken out. Now Nico will go down as Krytox dashes his way through. Pulse Bomb comes through, but will not find the stick there for Craggy, but he's still able to pick up the kill in onto Wins. Pulse Bomb thrown in onto Nerf, but he does not go down, stays alive through it all, and that is going to be the completion. Denmark taking it all the way to point C with 1:27 remaining on the clock.
Could have been even better if France didn't have that last minute heroic defense there. It was actually Nico who was able to get the kills that shut down Craggy in the end. Besides Nico having the really cool dashes and some denials when the pushes started to get a little bit softer there on the side of Denmark, they got dominated. And the triple DPS, the Soldier, the lack of mobility there, the lack of defense, and no defense matrix on the side of France here, I think is costing them big when Craggy gets into the back line. And we've seen his first-person view. We're seeing him smashing the DPS. He's killed Nico 1v1 several times. He's caught Soon on the retreat. This guy's knowledge of when Soon has already used his recall, going to chase him, picking him off. Soon was the carry for France in their last matches. Especially against Argentina, most would argue, because he was able to help shut down Klaus, but he was the carry, and he's just not standing up to Craggy in this direct matchup, which I think is a big surprise for a lot of the Western fans that expected France to dominate this. It's not over yet. We're still in just now France's attack, but Denmark gave them a big run for their money there and nearly had an even larger time bank than the one they have now with the 127.
Yeah, I mean, there's really just the one fight, that entire push, that France was able to stave off Denmark. They went back, regrouped, came back in, and were able to get that completion. So really surprising stuff. I'm sure a lot of the, the Rogue fans, the fans of France here, have to be surprised because, I mean, again, they were concerned about perhaps something like the Sombra, the Pharmacy comp coming through. They were nowhere near being afraid of Denmark running their comp and doing it better, but that's exactly what they did on attack.
So just looking at it right now, Nico looks to be running that D.Va. So they want to keep AKM on the Comfort Soldier here, but they are going to bring the D.Va out. It is going to be Nico. We saw this swap back in Apex. We've seen Rogue specifically. Now, of course, France's roster, but in the past, Rogue using this swap to more success. So I like this over having AKM on the D.Va because they still get to run that Soldier. And it's a lot more protection again for AKM against Craggy's Tracers coming in from the backside.
Yeah, but AKM going to have to deliver, and soon it certainly has to step it up a bit from that first round performance here on Hollywood. AKM not going to go down, finds Craggy, the headshots registering, and that's exactly what we were looking for, what we were expecting from France to start things off. And here we go, the point already going to be contested. First tick going over, and maybe even just the cap. We will see Fischer coming in. He's on that D.Va. trying to buy some time here for the rest of his squad, but he's going to get popped out. He's going to go down, and that should be a second tick at least coming through here for France, if not just the cap. So finding it just about as quickly, if not a little bit faster there than Denmark.
Yeah, just a little bit faster, it looks like here for the cap. 5:40 will be the time for France, but as you saw there, the only thing AKM really had to do was kill Craggy in the back line, and it was what we saw from Nico coming in, mitigating the damage for the rest of Soon to clean up Denmark there. Really well done. So different than I expected. I thought perhaps Nico would be protecting AKM there, but AKM just had to take the 1v1 himself.
All screen Soon going down. Kellex finding that nice little right click to kill him. As we see Denmark posturing forward, trying to keep this payload contained over here to the archway. Self-destruct will be tossed down. Not going to find anything there for the side of Nico, but that's going to be a nano boost in on the Nerf as he pushes forward. Pulse bomb down and onto the D.Va. Still hasn't lost the suit. They're keeping him alive, but now he's got pinned into the corner. Multiple members in the security room, and Nerf is just going with an all-out brawl. Takes down Nico. Soon will fall as well. And Nerf says, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. But as soon as they leave the room, he will go down. AKM finding the kill, has that tac visor ready to go. Would love to pop Fisher out of this mech so he can use it.
Gonna try to get him so he can't remag.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead, hand the mech over. Tac visor now coming through, finds Craggy, finds Lin. The self-destruct gets wins, but AKM trading up here for Team France. Fisher straight up into the air, has that Discord orb. Will not be long for this world, will get taken down. And this payload will continue moving.
AKM dealing with Nerf so well here and showing his accuracy, showing why he's not the player to swap to the D.Va. It's Nico who better fits that role. Such a very similar role as was being discussed actually by Doa and Monty in the last series of just mitigating damage, going to the back line and diving, but AKM just doing so much there, and suddenly it feels like the tank line of Denmark is going in too early and actually not able to kill AKM. Getting chased down oftentimes on the retreat is nerfed.
Oh, Fisher immediately going to get popped out of that mech yet again. Has the biotic grenade, but that's not going to do much there to keep the baby D.Va alive. Denmark already suffering 3 losses. Let's go ahead and make that 5 as Crytox going to be the only one remaining alive, hiding out inside the studio, but they're going to be chasing in rather deep to kill him. Can't get the health back, gets zapped to death. So we'll walk away with that one. That will be point B going over to France. So better, besting the time that Denmark had established on their attack. So perhaps being caught off guard initially, but now seems like they have figured out Denmark's play style, and they are just taking them to town.
Yeah, going to be a massive time bank here, so very similar now on the attack for France. Feels like Denmark, when they lose momentum, they kind of keep feeding for the contest, and even after that checkpoint was reached, we saw Fisher try to go in there to deny and try to stop that push to contest a little bit, but unfortunately was taken out, so staggering those respawns, giving some free push, some free ult charge over to France, so we'll have the ult economy lead right now. Nice pick off here for Crytox, finally knocking AKM out of the fight.
Yeah, a bit of an overstep there from AKM. Does get punished for that one, and without him, you can see France just gonna go ahead, retreat back over towards point B. Want to be operating as a full 6-man unit.
Soon trying to find the pulse bomb here, but the defense matrix is good. Finally gets in the back there. Not going to get the stick though.
Yeah, really poor flick. Doesn't have that stick, but does find Lin in the backside. So a bit of a consolation prize. And Nerf has gone down to that self-destruct tossed out here by Nico. They get Kellex as well, so no supports for the remaining members of Denmark, and they're just going to get cleaned up. Crytox yet again, the only one that's still alive, and even then that might not last too long. Is able to go ahead, jump over toward that high ground, but he's still being pursued in by Nox. Will get taken down, and his body's just going to hit the pavement.
Yeah, and that's going to be a long respawn here. Soon actually looking for Craggy right away. As the recall won't need it, here is actually going to tag team with AKM to try to control this high ground to keep them back in the spawn.
Now barrier coming through here from Denmark, but Craggy has already fallen. Not going to be benefiting him too much, and Crytox has the Dragon Blade out, finds AKM, gets wins as well. Can he get more? Yes, he can. Nox with the Discord Orb will get cut down. This buys a bit of room for Denmark to breathe, but it's still, there's a few meters remaining here for France on the push, and they have plenty of ultimates to try to get this done.
They're about to have the big 6, and realistically, they have about a minute and a half to make this push happen in order to maintain a massive time bank advantage. Even if it doesn't work out, the Stole might could be able to get the completion here. But this next push is going to be the toughest one for Denmark to hold because they use so many resources for that last push.
Yeah, and France is now moving in, has that sound barrier ready to go. Self-destruct will get tossed down here by Fisher, but he doesn't come with anything. But AKM takes out both supports with an attack visor yet again. Doesn't quite have those Helix rockets to finish off Crytox. A nice deflect from him. Nearly takes out the enemy soldier. The Transcendence does come through. They will top him up, and it's still France dominant on top of the payload, looking for that completion as Denmark scrambles to try to contest this, but it's not going to be happening by the look of it. Pushed forward there by Craggy right at the last second. Delays it for a little bit longer, but it will get completed. A minute and 2 seconds faster here for Rogue.
And this was, I feel like
France, whichever
way you want to go. People are calling them Frog, but this this team definitely had the better ult economy because we saw a few disjointed contestants coming out from Denmark, sending one tank in, a second tank in, trying to slow down the push so they could actually get the respawns coming in, but they fed a lot of ultimates over to France, and France had an even stronger push, had the bigger time bank. That last fight was decided by the better ult economy, and it turns out for France here, Nico's Diva was the answer to Craggy. As we were saying, as we expected, when Nico sits on that Diva, Craggy just is not finding the kills. AKM has given a lot more room to work with. And I like this setup much better than putting AKM on the Diva, as we saw very briefly there on France's initial defense.
Well, nicely done there by France. A good rebuttal to what was looking like a dominant performance there from Denmark on their attack. France just completely turns that one on its head. Says, you know what? We kind of invented that comp that you used. We made it popular. And we can absolutely crush you even while you're trying to use it. Fisher will be back over onto that soldier.
It looks like they want to run their triple DPS again.
They're going to be going back to this one. We did see him on the Diva, and Nico was doing a bit of a better job, you'd have to say, as far as staying alive. So Fisher will just go back over to that soldier, which is tried and true for him throughout the duration of this tournament. But now out the gate, Denmark yet again going to be on the attack. Minute and 20 seconds here as they approach point A.
Okay, they scout out Nico already on the Genji, which means Craggy can be more aggressive. They know this. They know there's no Diva on the side of France. Or actually, it's AKM on the Diva. My mistake. Did switch over to that. So no soldier on the high ground there. Just want to, again, stick with the protection against Craggy.
Well, this time, defense going significantly better here for the side of France. Craggy getting a little bit of a back cap. Got a bit onto that meter, but can't quite get that first tick. And we're down under a minute. Craggy just going down. A nice stagger will be there for France.
I suppose the idea here is they want to have both Nico and AKM for this short time bank for Denmark because they know they're not going to really be dealing with that many ultimates. And Nico has much more mobility to chase down Craggy and shut him down. AKM can give the protection there. And Nox is just looking for the extra damage there in the room with this composition with a solo tank on the side of Denmark.
Well, leap in comes through here from Nox, looking for Fisher. Identifying him as one of the key targets, but Nico will go down as Nerf finds a double kill, getting rid of Nox as well. Soon throwing out the pulse bomb, not going to find anything, and Krytox is there to pick up the pieces. And from the sidelines, Fisher firing away, gets some of those final kills coming through. That's going to be the team wipe as Denmark postures up onto the point. 15 seconds remaining. France likely going to be sprinting back in here, perhaps to try to contest this. But it seems like they're actually just going to get prepped for that Streets phase.
Yeah, they can't contest this. They're not close enough. But still, this is basically just going to be an overtime push for Denmark. They do have a lot of ults to actually keep this going. They should be able to stick to this payload like glue. Don't get bopped away by Nox. That is going to be the big ultimate there. The Primal Rage could actually just end this run for Denmark straight away. So targeting him down is going to be important. Lind is going to need to put those Discord orbs out.
Well, sound barrier comes through here from Denmark, but Craggy has already fallen in the fight. Nerfed. Looking for that Primal Rage, waiting to lose a little bit more HP before he feels forced to pop it out. Nico goes in, tries to get another kill with that Dragon Blade, but can't find it. Will get taken down, and Fisher's just firing away with that Tag Visor. Gets rid of Unko as well. See Nerf just jumping in, just trying to smack him away from the payload so he can get some more distance with the AKM, and soon likely to be going down.
Now when they don't have the Primal Rage.
Quite a bit.
They don't have the Primal Rage anymore, so this is going to be a much, much longer overtime push. Brad's probably starting to get a little bit stressed out. Nico had the right idea there with the Dragon Blade to come out. Knocked Krytox out of the fight first, but Nerf was there to answer with the Discord Orb onto Nico. He was taken out in the fight. They have self-destruct. That could be one way to get these members off the payload, but if they fail that, then this could be a very, very long overtime push for Denmark.
It's going to need a very well-placed one to make this work. You see the Transcendence coming through in answer of that sound barrier. Pulse bomb thrown down onto the ground. Not going to be finding any picks here for the side of Soon. Dashing around dangerously low. Has the recall, but will not be getting it much as far as the heals are concerned. The Helix Rockets will be there from Fisher to go ahead and finish off that pesky Tracer. Yet again, a team wipe for Denmark. They're going to keep the payload rolling closer and closer to point B.
This is such a big problem now. There's just no tools to get this. They're about to hit that second void. There's no tools to knock them off this payload. Nox still not with the Primal Rage. And Denmark about to have several ultimates available to buy further time, especially Nerf having his own Primal Rage. He's the key here. He's going to be the defender. We are They're going to narrow down towards that second point. And soon needs to find more kills. He's been taken out early. Wins, speaking of which, already out of the fight. Nico, out of position.
And Unko's down as well. It's both supports eliminated. And Fisher with attack visor gets rid of Nico. Firing away, looking for a couple more targets. Will knock AKM out of the mech. They take him down. And that might just be point B going over to Denmark's. Nox will fall. And they will have it capped in overtime. Denmark, where is this coming from?
Nerf did not even have to use his Primal Rage. They used almost nothing for this. They have Sound Barrier. Nico doesn't have his Dragon Blade yet. Needs to make sure he's picked up. He's picked up before he can get it. Still no Dragon Blade here for France. This is a crazy push we are watching right now for Denmark. Massive lead in ult economy. Lind soon to have the Transcendence. And this is unheard of in Overwatch to see a push like this. Just rolling and rolling. And there's no Diva. There's no self-destruct. AKM switches back to the Soldier. This is what they used to defend when they did stop that initial push from Denmark. But there's so many tools to keep this going on the side of Denmark. They have the ult lead. Here comes the Sound Barrier, though.
They drop it out. Krytox looking for that Dragon Blade. Nearly has it available. Just 6 more percentage for him to have that. Cuts Nico down the melee swing.
Down.
Gets rid of him as soon as he uses Dragon Blade. AKM dropping onto the low ground will be eliminated immediately, and it's just Unko left, but not for long. He will fall. The payload keeps on moving, and Denmark might just be able to make this happen.
They might just have it. Nerf still has that Primal Rage. They've got the Transcendence and the Dragon Blade, and they're keeping France in the choke point here. Here comes the Pulse Bomb. Not enough to knock Fisher out. Transcendence.
It keeps him alive. Lin pops it. It keeps the Diva in the fight, and now Nerf with the Primal Rage smacks down AKM. Krytox drawing out the Dragon Blade, looking to finish off this French squad. Will cut down Unko. It's all on Nico, but he is dead yet again. It's Denmark in overtime. They push it all the way to point C.
This does not happen in competitive Overwatch. This rarely happens in solo queue games. The full push in overtime. They had the weaker time bank. And if you're France right now, you're wondering, how in the hell did they make that happen? Now we have to, with a weak time bank ourselves, push all the way, get the completion here. An insane situation now on the side of France. They just couldn't get their ults together. They didn't have the coordination. Nico, too aggressive, picked off multiple times there on the attack. And he just wasn't able to get the Dragon Blades off. And when they came in panicked, they came in hot, and Denmark picked them off one by one without using their ultimates. Had the ultimates there at the end to buy that extra time, the Primal Rage, the Transcendence. And Nico just did not deliver.
You see that dumpster?
I see it.
That's what Denmark just put France in.
Oh, there it is. They're right inside. Oh, man. I knew we were going to have a good series here.
Okay.
I knew we were going to have a good series here. Well, I did not know we were going to have a full overtime push on our hands.
I mean, so it's not over yet, but France, they have to go the distance with 2 minutes 29. Denmark, against all odds, able to complete that. But good lord, the odds now stacked against them. The favorite coming into the series. There's still 3 more maps after this that France very well could take, but either way, if this is a win for Denmark, it's one hell of a statement.
Okay, we're gonna run this time again the triple DPS. Not gonna have either Nico nor AKM on the Diva. It's a Diva-less comp. And it's gonna be about Nico again finding that damage, but they don't have the protection against Kragi. That's the scary part.
Kellick's already having the back off, takes quite a bit of damage, but Unko's gonna be the first one. He goes down as Kragi just wreaks havoc on these support members here for France. Biotic Field will keep a few of them topped off as he just builds up for this Pulse Bomb, already over halfway there.
France realizing this is not going to be the push with the early kill onto Unko. Backs away, built up a decent amount of charge for AKM. He's actually farming that really well, now up to 62%. He's going to be the one, if they can knock Fisher out of the mech, to carry this fight and to grab that first point. Up to 71 now, building it onto Nerf. If he can grab him, that would be a nice start.
Soon's gone down the Biotic Grenade, absolutely massive here from Lin, just keeps everybody topped off. The recall is available there for Kragi, zips himself back into safety, and has that Pulse Bomb ready to go. AKM as well here with the Attack Visor, needs a big opening, but as long as Fisher is there with the Defense Matrix, it's gonna be so difficult to try to get onto the prime targets. Nox, he knows he's dead, he's just gonna go ahead and stop dead in his tracks, and that is gonna stop France as well, because they just pick up multiple kills.
No opportunities.
AKM as well, they're chasing up all the way back towards the spawn.
No opportunities for AKM to use that Attack Visor. They can't knock Fisher out of the mech. They can't stop Nerf. The Discord Orbs have been really well placed for Unko, but just not enough damage to finish Nerf off. He gets away, he escapes. The Ana pick here really working out for Denmark, and they didn't even use the Nano boost yet, so Nerf has a lot more ways he can buy time here. France is gonna have to make this work right now. This is their last big push.
Could be the Nano Blade, and that's exactly exactly what it's going to be. Crydox does get booped away, but he still finds Switch. He finds AKM. Lin will get cut down off screen, but it doesn't even matter because Crydox is doing all the heavy lifting for Denmark. They will absolutely destroy, dismantle Team France, and soon is going to be the only one left standing. 35 seconds left on the clock.
Fisher gets the health
still
pack.
relatively healthy, gets that health back, as you say. To say in the fight soon is ticking up on the point. Nobody is contesting him. AKM and Wins have joined in. Could this actually be it here for France against the run of play that we've seen from the start of this round?
Nerf has that Primal Rage. Will he want to use it here? He's coming in. He's going to go ahead and drop onto Unko here. Get that respawn out. Drops the Primal Rage. AKM, though, getting the kills. Unko survives.
He forces out that Transcendence, and Fisher has fallen. Didn't get anything with that self-destruct, and it's going to be France this time around picking up the kills. The Healer Rockets comes through, cuts down Nerf even through the Primal Rage, and it seems like France might just be able to get this cap finally on point A, but again, they have to go all the way to C if they want to win this match.
That's right, and the only egregious usage of ults here for Denmark was using Nerf's Primal Rage, you have to say. He failed to get the kill onto Unko, and sure, he baited out the Transcendence, but France was more ult efficient otherwise. Now, sure, Denmark has a lot of time to work with as we approach point C. So many meters left to go, so they can build up those ults again. But Nerf is going to have to make sure he does not repeat the performance of Nox earlier with those Primal Rages to knock them off. Of course, Fisher with the self-destructs, another opportunity to clear this overtime.
Soon not going to be finding the stick there with that pulse bomb, trying to get it in onto Nerf. Might just fall anyway, and he does get knocked out up the sky as they desperately try to contest this payload. Seems like France still going to be in a pretty decent spot, trading evenly at the moment. But it's not progressing, and that's going to be the crucial point here to take away for France. They're not advancing down the street. Denmark is buying time. If they leave this payload for a second,
you'd have to think
it's
maybe
going to plummet.
You think maybe for a moment, it's weird to say this in an overtime push on hybrid, but maybe Denmark should do some eco pushes to build those ultimates onto the point, build up the Primal Rage, have that nano boost to build that there for Nerf so that he can get them off the point. The self-destruct for Fisher, so far away because it's been demeched so early. It's only at 44%. These are the easy tools. These are the easy ways to stop the overtime.
All right, well, AKM just get taken out here by Craggy, but they lose out onto Nerf, so Fisher gonna have to be the front line for the side of Denmark at the moment, and now Craggy taken out soon, finding that crucial pickup. Craggy has been the one wreaking havoc here for France.
Unko.
Just giving them so much trouble. Crydox going forward. Nico's there, cuts him down, finds the kill, gets Lind as well. That could just be point B going over to France. My God, can they actually do it?
Well, they're getting closer and closer by the moment. But remember, once Denmark gets those important ults, that's going to be the challenge. But France has been just as efficient in ults as Denmark was with their overtime push here. They're about to have the big six on attack here. So this next fight is going to be so critical for ult economy as we approach the end. Nerf still not having that Primal Rage. Fisher close to that self-destruct, but those are the big ones. Lind could try to use the nano boost early to get that Primal Rage, but that's a risk. Nico does have that Dragon Blade, just trying to harass here in the back lines, looking for Nerf as the first target.
Dashing in, so has the Dragon Blade ready to go. Big heal tonight comes out, however, in the meantime, Crydox drawing out his own Dragon Blade. But the Transcendence is there, and he is not going to find anything for it. Near team wipe onto Denmark. Comes through from France, and they will finally be pushing through the final gateway, approaching point C.
And again, so many ults used for Denmark. They use that Dragon Blade. I say so many, but that's so important because France basically only used the Transcendence here. Not going to be available for the next fight, but Crydox already used the Dragon Blade, so it's kind of an even trade in that way, and the payload is still rolling. The Self-Destruct and the Primal Rage are going to be the big ones, though, and they're finally ready here.
All right, double sound barrier coming through, but Kellic is still going to be the first one that falls. Nico finds the kill, looking for a little bit more, but now that Self-Destruct comes through, makes it out of range in time to keep himself alive, but the overtime nearly ticks down. They cannot step away from this one, but AKM, with that tac visor, takes out Craggy, one of those pesky delay tactics that Denmark can rely on. Going back in, payload yet again moving forward. So many members waiting to respawn here on the side of Denmark. It's going to be down to Fisher, Kellic, and Craggy to try to buy that time. Need to get in here very swiftly. Fisher up into the air to try to buy time for the rest of the squad. The heals coming to the back is already gone down. Kellic with the boom, just trying to knock them off, trying to get them away from this so it can plummet in time.
He survives.
Keep himself alive.
He survives. He
Against the run of play, they go back in. Nerf jumping forward, rejoining in with the team, waiting for Fisher to arrive. Craggy has been picked off, and it's an all-out brawl on top of the point that France is winning. AKM coming up huge, the double kill coming through, and that is going to be it. They get it in the end.
This is insane.
My God, one of the craziest runs I have ever seen from any team on Hollywood.
The key play in that last fight was on Nico. Fisher drops down the self-destruct. They talk about how important that ultimate is. He escapes, and not only that, he kills Fisher before Fisher can remech, so he doesn't have the mech to buy time to use those boops hopes there, perhaps with that and Kelix, they can prevent this from happening. But Nico, sure, he got picked off several times there on the defense. Maybe he was the weak link there, but on attack, he made the plays. He made that happen at the end. And the heals coming out as well. The protection from Unko, that was really well done. The Transcends to deny Krytox's Dragon Blade. And we are going to the very rare overtime, 1 minute apiece, full completions in overtime for both teams.
I swear, if we go all the way to point C again, I might die.
Well, we might just keep doing this all night.
We're just never going to advance to the second map. We're just going to be locked into Hollywood for all eternity. But good Lord, France, they managed to do it. They claw their way out of that dumpster, and they put Denmark in instead. Say, okay, now your turn.
All right, well, this is getting a bit intense right now. If you're a fan of either of these teams, do tell your friends to get in here and watch this one, because we have just not quite seen anything like this. We have never commentated any Overwatch game on Hybrid that looked like this. All right, so we'll be Denmark on the attack yet again. Only 1 minute of time here, though, as they head out. So this is going to have to be the miracle push. Remember, France has that exact same time bank, so any ground they gain is massive.
Yep. Going to be running the same exact thing that we've seen so far. Fisher back over onto that soldier. And it has been working out rather well for them thus far. You know, just a bit of exchanging here. The Genji's poking out, trying to build up for those Dragon Blades, and AKM's going to be the first one to fall as Fisher finds that kill. Krytox going into the cafe here. Goes dangerously low, will get taken out, but still it's going to be trading up here for Denmark as they find Soon and Nox, but it's not enough for them to get that second tick yet. Now coming through as they get rid of Nico. They cut down Unko as he's trying to push in, and that will be the cap on A. Denmark yet again setting the stage for themselves to make this massive run. 12 seconds, then we're in overtime. France, can they stop them this time around?
They're going to have to rely on Nico once more, and this time he's going to have to play it better than he did the last. They don't have D.Va, so they won't have self-destruct to use for these fights. They don't have the protection, so you need to be careful of AKM getting picked by Krag. He doesn't have anywhere near the tac visor, and Unko did switch over to that Zenyatta, so Krytox getting close to Dragon Blade. He should have it first.
See if he can make proper use of it, though. Kelix is going to go down. AKM finds him with those Helix rockets, and now it's dangerous territory here for the side of Denmark. AKM not going to be caught out by that pulse bomb. Overtime ticking down, and it will end right here just past the gateway.
47 or 45-79.
They still have just a minute to match this.
Okay, not only do they have to take it in a minute, but they do have to push it just that far. Just basically ultless what we saw, and it was on Nerfed to actually do that extra damage. He was the one who was able to find them in that AoE sector where he did so much with that Tesla gun there. Nico tried to buy time, got picked, but they held when it mattered most. They got the picks off after resetting. There's not a whole lot of time to reset on this one, though. When we're having dive versus dive like this, things get a little bit wipey when you win on attack and you get that grab. So what Denmark needs to do here is what they're looking for really massively is going to be the full hold. There's very little distance traveled for France to actually take this one. And it looks like, surprisingly, Nico's grabbing onto the D.Va for the attack here. Not going to be doing the Genji attack, so looking for protection against Craggy for the longer sustained fight to take this point.
We'll just have nearly mirrored comps coming through here from both sides unless we see a swap from France in the next 15 seconds or so. Lind is going to be on the Unko over on that Zenyatta. One of the best, if not the best in the West. And wants to show that off, wants to start things off with a victory here for Team France. And you know that Thailand's waiting in the back rooms saying, like, yeah, you know, we want France to win this as well.
And this is just game number one.
Exactly.
Nico's going to drop out the sound arrow here, the sonic arrow, then switch over back to the D.Va. Unko needs that protection, as we know that's going to be the primary target for Craggy and Krytox here heading into this one. Nice Helix rockets already coming out from AKM, doing the damage.
Yeah, cuts Lin down pretty low, but he's got it himself healed right back up. Self-safe Fisher cutting in over to the cafe, keeping himself safe with that Discord aura on top of him. AKM being threatened from the backside as Craggy goes in pretty deep. Tries to get the kill to eliminate the soldier, but it's not going to be working out yet. They've been onto the point, first tick. Getting ready to come through here for the side of France, and Craggy has fallen, as you say. Unko coming up with that kill here for his squad. Bionic Grenade keeping nerfed in the fight, but for how long? It's hard to say, and it's not very long at all, actually, because the Helix rockets are there to go ahead and finish off that enemy Winston. Now Fisher popped out of the mech. You'd have to expect that this should be the cap, perhaps, here, going over to France as they continue to eliminate members of Denmark. Krytox going down. That was the last hope. Denmark, do they just get prepped for a very intense streets phase. Looks like the answer is going to be yes.
They're going to need to make sure that they can buy enough time for Fischer to have that self-destruct. Lind is going to stay with the Ana because he knows there's not a lot of time. He has 92%. He wants that nano boost, so this is definitely still doable on the side of Denmark. They bought a lot of time, just starting in overtime. Denmark themselves had about 15 extra seconds, but this is so close right now. The nano target is almost certainly going to be Krytox, who has the Dragon Blade. Unko doesn't have Transcendence. Will they realize this or try to bait it out? If they bait it out, could be the opportunity. Here we go, just going to use it blind here, right on the AKM.
He's pushing his way into the pulse bomb as there, takes him down, and a double kill over to Nico. Nerfed and Fischer both falling. Lind goes out with that tag. Pfizer, a double kill answered here by Craggy, but now it's him against all of France, and he's not going to succeed, and that is going to be it. No one from Denmark can tag, and in one of the craziest games of Overwatch I have ever seen, France will come out on top on Hollywood.
They made it count when it mattered most, and I feel like that's the big difference between these two for the overtime pushes. It's finally the self-destructs hit their mark. Soon was able to get the pulse bombs, but we thought this series was going to be one-sided for France. You were shown that you were incorrect by this first game, and that is just game number 1 of this 4-map series.
It feels like that game 1 lasted longer than Hong Kong did against China at the beginning of the day. That was an eternity on Hollywood. But France, in the end, they do come out on top. Krytox is walking away with that play of the game, but unfortunately for Denmark, not a victory. So Thailand breathing a bit easier backstage.
And for Denmark, I feel like they walk away with this one much happier than France does, because France knew they were the favorites coming to this. They want to take that top seed spot, avoid playing against China. For Denmark, they say, wow, we really gave them a run for the money. Several times, France looked mortal, and Denmark absolutely could take the 3-1 here. It's absolutely still a possibility, but man, was that tense. I can't even believe we saw 2 back-to-back overtime pushes.
That's so very rare. That's only ever happened a few times. You'd have to expect.
Yeah.
I mean, especially on the professional stage, that's like seeing a unicorn.
Yeah, we saw 2 unicorns back-to-back.
Yeah,
okay.
We found a Dane and a French unicorn, and then they fought each other, and the French one won.
Yeah, it's like seeing a
now
unicorn.
There's one less unicorn in the world, so that's sad.
Yeah. Rip unicorns, but maybe we'll see more unicorns in this series if things continue like this.
I don't know how you
first tiebreaker map, maybe.
I don't know how you try to one-up that. There's just, I mean, maybe some crazy escapades on the side of escort at the end of the series, but going over to control should be a bit more contained. Sure, we could still have back and forth, just getting the caps, retakes, back and forth between the 2 squads. But there will be a clear victor at the end because it is a best of 3.
Yeah, hoping we see Ilios again. I would love to see that. We saw that in our last series, of course.
Finally got that. Finally got Volskaya.
Yeah.
But so it was a bit of a transition, but you never know what's going to happen here. We've been seeing a heck of a lot of Lijiang Tower and some smattering of Nepal thrown in there as well. So I'm expecting to see one of those 2 maps being drawn out. Ilios,
the more common ones.
I feel like most people have been playing Ilios for so long, they're just like, I want to play anything that's not Ilios right now. So they just keep going over to those other picks.
Looks like it's time to reveal the map, though, guys. It is ready. Where are we headed? It is going to be Nepal.
Right.
So unfortunately not the Ilios that you and I wanted, but it is going to be the Nepal that Denmark was looking for. So I feel like Rogue's triple DPS has been somewhat hit or miss here. It's looked good when Soon can hit the pulse bombs or when Nico has the protection, but when Unko gets picked off, that's when things get a little bit dirty. They've shown that they can run the Diva, and that's something that they ran a lot there to protect against Craggy, but going into Nepal, I have a feeling they're going to stick with the triple DPS. Maybe they'll change it up when we go into Sanctum, but for Shrine, I'd put big money it's just going to be 3 DPSs on the side of France, flying out as we head into this one.
We'll see what they do. I mean, Fischer moving over onto the Diva. When he was playing that, those are the rounds that they were losing. So could just see the triple DPS here from both sides, perhaps. Give it a couple more seconds and see what is going to happen. At the moment, Skelix showing the mercy, but Fischer, yeah, he's not going to be playing Lucio. So they will go ahead and just swap that out. It'll be the soldier coming through here for Fischer. So keeping things rather consistent. It seems like we will have the triple DPS on the side of Denmark as well as France, so we'll just be going right back at each other.
This is not going to be the map to see Pharmacy on, not on Sanctum, I should say, on this round. Maybe we see it later on Shrine, but not here.
Fisher going low already, has to kite back, picks up that health pack, and gets topped up there by Lind as Krytox does find Soon, so eliminating one of the DPS threats. Gonna be a nice start, but they lose out onto Nerf, so now Denmark gonna be without a tank. See if they can still posture forward, get in onto the point right now. They are capping this one through. It seems like they will get the first. They take that away, and actually Krytox dashing in from behind, takes out Nox with the help of that Discord orb.
Yeah, fighting a man down and still making it work here. Krytox doing some serious damage with the flex too. They hold on to this Nerf's back. And really, if you compare his ult meter to Nox, it's really not all that different with the late pick coming on to France's Winston side there. They're actually pretty even.
Anyone need some healing?
Well, for now, see Denmark just going to be looking to operate around this left side of the point, up onto the high ground.
My tactical visor is charging.
France hasn't really found their way onto this one yet to try to get the cap. Unco under threat here from Krytox, has the deflection to take him down. Says, thank you very much for the bullets. Let's go ahead and kill your support with those. And Nico falls as well, so this should be Denmark holding pretty firmly here onto the point, especially as Fisher goes out with that attack visor, finds the kill in onto Win Soon. Cannot possibly escape. He will go down as Nerf picks up the double kill. Denmark gonna hold on to this one, ticking upward just about the past 50%.
Fisher using his tack visor, so that's pretty nice for France. That's one thing they could take away from this failed fight, but 52% here on the side of Denmark. This 6-ult push, if it fails, it's going to be pretty telling as to how the rest of this first round is going to go, because Denmark has the weaker ult economy right now.
Uh-oh, Krytox
already down.
Yeah, in no man's land, will get taken out. Had that Dragon Blade available, so maybe this is the opening here for France, but losing out on Unco. Might just trade that one right back. Nico will be working his way down onto the point. Get this one ticking up here for his squad. Sound barrier coming through as Denmark will go ahead and rejoin. Delay this from coming through.
They didn't really use all too much for this, and they're going to go for the reset here. But this one needs to work. I can really appreciate that France was not willing to just go in there and take an abysmal fight because they felt like they were out of time, because they had just enough time for one push. They baited out the sound barrier. Nico was not willing to Dragon Blade into that. Now that it's gone here, if they can bait the Transcends, they can absolutely get the flip. Again, going to take a lot of resources to do so, but here comes the approach.
Oh, recall coming through there, Craggy working his way around the back. And
Unco!
He's here right on top of Unco. Can he finish him off? Yes, he can. Cuts him down, but Nico does have that Dragon Blade out. Gets rid of Fisher. Nerfed and Lind also falling off screen. The near cap here for France will be able to get the flip at 99% in overtime. But they had to use pretty much everything for that. The Transcendence, the only thing that they have to try to hold this point at the moment.
Looks like the idea there was to kill Unco so he couldn't use Transcendence, so Krytox could win the fight, but so many resources were spent to kill him. Krytox wasn't involved in the fight there, so basically they couldn't find that value. Krytox still holds onto the Dragon Blade. They won't have the sound barrier to pair with it, unfortunately, though. Transcendence could be the way. They could build a second one because they have so much time here.
Now pushing back in, only 25% so far here for the side of France. Transcendence comes through from Unco. Gonna keep everybody topped off. And they do find the kill in onto Nerf, so we'll be delaying Denmark a bit more. But there's still a ways to go, just a third of the way there at the moment. Get this first win on Sanctum.
Not gonna go for their attack until they have all their ults ready, or unless they get a pick, and that's where Fisher is gonna come into here, or Craggy, depending on which one is able to get those headshots off. France just taking a defensive stance here, waiting to try to catch this push.
Pulse bomb there from Craggy, not gonna go with anything, and AKM comes in from behind, takes down Krytox. A crucial target eliminated, but Lind coming up the kill onto the soldier. Nico going down as well, pulse bomb thrown out, will get rid of Nerf. So nice trade backs coming through here from France as they try to maintain this hold. The near cap was there for Denmark. Will start draining out as it's just Kellex all on his own.
They use basically everything too here. I mean,
he survived. Oh yes, he does. Actually, the poop takes down Soon.
He has to go over here and get the speed up to try to go for another contest. They're gonna have the sound barrier and that primal rage. The Dragon Blade wasted because those Helix rockets hit home there for AKM.
Not going to be looking for this caps. 80% about to come through here for the side of France. Kellex getting jumped on, goes dangerously low, manages to stay alive and still has that sound barrier. Will be throwing it down now, keeping Nerf alive, but Krytox is still going to be the first one to fall, but they get Unco, they get Nico, and Denmark, they get the flip. They're looking for the finish. Down barrier out from the side of France as they try to push back into this one soon. Comes up with a kill onto Fisher. AKM with that tack visor takes down Nerf. They're looking for that flip back to try to force into that overtime yet again, and seems like they might just be able to do it. As Soon comes up with a double kill. Lind will also go down for a massive stagger onto that Zenyatta. France, they get it back 87%, looking for 100.
They still have the better ults too. Nico's got that Dragon Blade. They could buy time for Unco to have the Transcends. Denmark just doesn't have the engage here Sure, they might have the Dragon Blade, but it should be shut down right away. And look at this position for AKM. So much damage already done. They walked right into the trap.
Fisher's the first one to fall. Now Nerf going down, and Nico has the Dragon Blade drawn out, duking it out here against the enemy Genji, and it looks like it's going to be Krytox who loses out on that one. A bit of an unfair fight as Nox joins in with the Primal Rage to take him down, but now it's into double overtime as it's 99% each, but ticking down for France, and it seems like they will have it. So round one of Nepal goes over to the French squad.
The shutdowns on the dive coming in for the side of Denmark was what won them this round, shutting down Krytox repeatedly. AKM, the hero here, the Helix rockets that shut down that big Dragon Blade that was looking for that easy flip to 99 to 100. That was their opportunity, their moment there that was shut down. And you have to think, this is France's arena. Rogue, the team that defined what triple DPS means in the current meta. They're the team that made this composition. And when you mirror it, 3 DPS versus 3 DPS, you have to think they're going to be the ones that know how to handle it better, and shutting down those critical ultimates, the Dragon Blades, baiting out the Transcendences. France is so far consistently doing this much better.
Well, neck and neck so far. Again, the back and forth between these guys showing it yet again here on Nepal, but now we move over to Shrine. Could be a 2-0 finish here for France. Put them up 2-0 as well in the match series so far. Denmark, they do not want to go down without a fight, and they're going to be changing things up. Instead, it's going to be Krytox over onto the Soldier, and Fisher this time on the Genji. So, trying something a little bit different, see if they can find success with this. But already France posturing forward onto the point, have a bit of an advantage, but Krytox is going to turn that one around as AKM goes down. Those Helix rockets flying straight and true, find their target, and now wins under fire, tries to ride up into the air, but he's got that Discord orb on him, and Krytox's aim is beautiful. His tracking is great, and they will go ahead and get this first cap.
And they will. Sometimes you worry when you see a swap like this just from roll to roll directly. Almost feels like it speaks to a lack of confidence to Krytox's Genji's. Wasn't able to get anything done with that Dragon Blade in the last game, but they're making it work here, so I can't even say it's nerves. Perhaps they just were feeling it better this way with the swap. So Fisher, we've seen the Genji from him already this tournament, but this is looking to be an even better version than what we saw last time. Already building up to that Dragon Blade. Sound Barrier going to be close with it too, so France with not a lot of resources to contest this initially may try to bait out some ultimates with this next push.
Yeah, soon trying to sneak around the back. Nearly has that pulse bomb ready to go. Is spotted out there by Krytox, forced around the front here, but Nox is going to go down first and foremost as Craggy finds that kill with the pulse bomb. Dragon Blade out here from Fisher, but he's going to go down. Couldn't get the kill in onto Unko, but that's still not going to be enough to undo everything here for Denmark. They still are coming in on top of these exchanges. 50% about to come through. Unko will be hounded down. Krytox going to get the kill on the wins. The arrival of Nox means he's got to go ahead and peel back, but actually, Craggy and Lin will just join in, and they'll say, okay, you know what? Let's just kill the Winston instead.
Yep, now he's going to get into this high ground position. France isn't going to necessarily see this one coming, but France does have a large amount of ultimates, but not as many as you would think. Denmark pretty efficient with that hold. I feel like the thing that we're seeing best from France is the shutdown of the Dragon Blades, the shutdown Krytox, the shutdown Fisher, but they need to win the rest of the fight after that. Once again, going to be looking for the pick onto the Genji. Fails the pulse bomb stick here onto Krytox as well.
Yeah, he's going to go low. Oh, Biotic Field comes through. AKM is able to get a kill off screen as he takes down Nerf. Krytox on the high ground, does have that tack visor, but Nox just Goomba stomps him down. And that's going to be the sound barrier coming through here from Denmark. Finds it onto 4 members. And still will be maintaining control at the moment. You can see France trying to posture forward, trying to get this one completed, but Kelix and Fisher are doing the damnedest to go ahead and delay this one. 92%, still ticking upward. Sound barrier is used here for France as they try to get this cap.
Really desperate.
Still delaying very heavily. We'll go into overtime. France, they need to stick onto this one. They need to get that flip. And they will go ahead and get it right here at the end. AKM with attack visor takes down 2. But again, the long journey begins for France. 100%.
Yeah,
it's going to be
they did it last
climb.
time, but the France shutdowns of these ultimates, the Dragon Blades, the attack visors, that's what I'm most impressed by. Krytox on the high ground there had a really nice place to use his tack visor, but France identified it early, shut it down. They were harassing him non-stop with Zune. They have a decent amount of ults here for the defense. They could buy a lot of time. Denmark is going to have to make the first Dragon Blade really happen on this control point. Here it comes. They didn't make it
right
work
now.
before.
Fisher going in, finds one as he gets rid of wins, but needs a lot more than that. Gets the slices in, but it doesn't have the damage to get the kills. And now 3 members down on the side of Denmark, make it 4 as Craggy will just walk straight into the barrel of AKM's gun. takes them down, and France will go ahead, maintain control.
And yet again, a more efficient hold here for France, shutting down these important ultimates. So I'm most worried about Denmark just reflipping. Talk about control. Usually the 99-0 lead is so massive for the team that got it first because they have that 6-ult push. The synergy here, there's no support ultimates for the Dragon Blades, and France is just able to find these, punish these sloppy ult synergies, or lack of synergy, I should say, for Denmark, and win these fights over and over. Now we're at a 60-99.
I mean, this has just been a game of anything you can do, we can do better for France. You can see Primal Rage used out there by Nerf, but he's still going to go down. Unco with the Transcendence, keeps himself alive through that onslaught, and soon finds Lin in the back. Fischer falling as well. They are able to trade up here for wins, but Denmark are still suffering heavy losses, and it's 80% now for France, who are yet again looking to lose out 99%, get the flip, and then take it all the way home.
Maybe third time's a charm for Fischer on this Dragon Blade, but he doesn't even have it yet. They're going to have to use maybe Transcendence to allow him to farm for that. 25% away, just haven't been able to make these ultimates work. They have the support ultimates this time, so this could be the one and only Dragon Blade that brings this to a third round. See if they can make it happen soon. Looking
coming in from behind, throws out the pulse bomb. Does he get anything? The answer is going to be no. The barrier there to help block it. Now Transcendence thrown down. Fischer does find wins, has the Dragon Blade out, gets rid of AKM. Unco falling down, but the self-destruct comes up with a double kill. Nerf and Fischer both falling, and they get Lind as a response. The cap getting ready to come through. Denmark will in fact get the flip because Nox was chasing so deep to try to finish off Krytox, but will they be punished for it soon? Rejoining here with the Winston, the sound barrier out from France. They want to take it back. They want to finish this right here, but Denmark will be joining back in with their own respawns. Craggy firing away, very far away from that pulse bomb soon, dangerously close to his as they try to get rid of Nerf. He will go down soon, finds the kill, and AKM Pulse or Discord Orb comes through the dash for the melee from Craggy, is able to finish him off, but it's still just so many kills going over to the side of France. Kelix desperately trying to stay alive. You can see his health bar just going down and back up, but he does fall as Unco finds the kill. Krytox taken out as well, and yet again, it's all on Craggy. Gets that recall, but the flip will still come through for France, and now it's all down to Denmark yet again to try to delay, but he is tied up here, can't get in onto the point. It's dropping so very quickly. He dies, Nerfed is dead, and that will be it. France, again, so back and forth between these two teams, are able to come out on top. They get the 2-0 on Nepal by finishing off Shrine. They have the 2-0 in this series. Thailand, again, feeling a bit less, stressful watching these games, but well, Denmark, their hopes of making it into the playoffs are dwindling. AKM here, man, he is just totally dominating on the Soldier. This is a attack visor play of the game, but he was getting so many kills. He had the extra survivability, surviving through those Dragon Blades. And unfortunately for Denmark, they just couldn't make a single Fischer Blade come out on top there. When he had the flip over, it wasn't good enough. And the shutdowns were real from Rogue. And Rogue still looks a little bit disappointed because they struggled again. Wasn't a dominant performance they were looking for, but they had the shutdowns where they mattered most there against Denmark. And really, that last hold from Craggy was heroic. I mean, he was alive for so long. No one dealt with him, no one killed him. But really what happened for the majority of that fight was the defense matrix, the shutdowns coming in from Nico. Even though Craggy lived for so long, it didn't matter because he was alone and he couldn't find the kills he was looking for. The defense matrix shutting down, eventually leading to that kill. France having the better synergy though, and I feel like the ult shutdowns is the big takeaway there from Nepal. Yeah, crazy stuff here from both of these teams. Denmark putting up one hell of a fight, but France still leading the series with that 2-0. We're gonna go to a quick break. I'm gonna grab some tea, maybe even take a breath perhaps, Wolf. And when we come back, we'll have the halftime show with our guests to break down those games.
The 2017 Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by Omen by HP, T-Mobile, Union Pay, and Blizzard Entertainment.
Welcome back to the halftime show. Folks, this is what the Overwatch World Cup is all about. Finding new talent, new opportunities, and also testing your mettle against some of the best in the world. This matchup has everything you could possibly want in a competitive Overwatch match. France versus Denmark, certainly one for the ages. I cannot believe, like, I felt so bad for Achilleos and Wolf because that Hollywood game seemed like it never wanted to end.
No, it really
wanted
didn't.
to end.
And I personally didn't want it to end.
You could have done a
honest.
few more overtime pushes.
It was an emotional roller coaster, all right? Like, I was
I'm
worried
a big
and happy
professional
and
wrestling
worried.
fan, and one of the chants in pro wrestling is fight forever. When two wrestlers are like just going at it, fight forever is like one of the chants. I just wanted them to play forever. Like, it was so good.
Yeah.
But I do think, though, that, Denmark, and Teltzer, this is going to go to you because you mentioned before that these players are looking to seed out opportunities, right? These guys are in teams, right? In Singularity and Hammers as well.
Hollywood Hammers.
Yes.
For Fisher, yep.
But,
and, I mean, what we saw here was a great display from a lot of these guys. Actually, the standout player for me here is Kellex. I've never seen Lucio put down that much damage or show up that much in the kill feed. He was an essential player on his team there. But we saw so much great work from Krytox as well on the Genji. And our favorite, Fisher, just doing work over there on Denmark.
Yeah, but AKM, he looked unstoppable once he switched back to that Soldier.
On Soldier.
On Soldier. Every time he's on D.Va, I'm a little bit like, eh. But, I mean, we saw in the very first round on Hollywood, like the D.Va was missing. And once they switched Nico onto the D.Va, that seemed to be the answer to Craggy's Tracer, who ripped in the backlines there. So... I don't know.
Yeah, Craig has just been having a really good game. And I do
five.
feel for Denmark a little bit. I think when they go back and they watch that VOD, they'll realize that they had a huge window on Hollywood, even in that first overtime.
Yes.
They had the Nano Boost, they had the Dragon Blade, but they didn't go for it. They should have known that Unko didn't have the Transcendence, but for some reason that comm didn't come through or they just didn't capitalize on it. And they allowed Rogue to finish that map out, which I think obviously hurt them at the end of the day. But soon, pulse bombing that Dragon Blade at the very end there was probably one of, I mean, it's like his third clutch moment of this tournament, and it's only been 3 days.
He's had many clutch moments here. This moment, AKM, I just want to comment on his incredible positioning as 76. Really, that last push got thwarted, I would say, on that particular one, because of how he was able to position himself on the right side of the map, really not allowing anyone to like go in through that door. It's just little details like that really have pushed France over the edge. But Denmark, so good.
Oh God, the entertainment factor of these matches has been through the roof. First of all, like I've never seen a score like that on Hollywood. I think it ended 8-7. But then Nepal was amazing because Denmark kept coming through with those early caps, holding on all the way to 99, and then we had these high stakes flips at the last moment. I've not seen anything come this close at Overwatch World Cup.
I want more, and I want Denmark to finish out a map. I think that this might be their best opportunity. They can take them to Lunar Colony if they want. I don't think you've taken the Volskaya. You want that map win. You need the map win because you want to try to force at least a tiebreaker, if not just win it out just based off how the Thailand match goes next. But if you're China right now and you're looking at this Denmark squad, you're probably not as confident. I think everyone in Group B is just playing phenomenally right now.
This group is on fire.
That's a great point too, Flame, because now with these 2 losses for Denmark, they're in range of being challenged by Thailand. So if Thailand can tie it up here, if they can get 4 wins, they can totally tie up with Denmark. If Denmark doesn't win anything right now, it's an open field for Thailand.
So the opportunity is still there for Denmark, but they have to seize it. That is going to be the question. We're going to break down what we might see in the coming games, so don't go anywhere. This matchup has been incredible. France versus Denmark doesn't get any better than this, and although the scoreline is 2-0 in favor of France, do not count out Denmark at all, because this team is bringing the thunder. We'll catch you guys on the other side for more discussion.
Rogue, and they're really, really good. They're the best NA team and EU team in my opinion. Our chance of going to BlizzCon is not that big, considering if we do well against France, we're going to be up against China, and they're a really, really good team as well.
Denmark will be the hardest team we play. I know it's players from Team Singularity. Most of them are Team Singularity. So they are good communication, good coordination like us. But we watch VOD and we know what they will do.
All right, well, there you heard from Soon and Craggy, as a matter of fact, which has certainly been the battle of this matchup. Soon, one thing to notice about Soon is he's really great, and you were talking about this before when we were watching the match. You said that Soon is great against everyone else, but sometimes in 1v1s he struggles. Could you elaborate on that?
He doesn't want to take them. I mean, it's risky. You know, you go in for the Tracer 1v1. If you die, it's over. You don't get that life back, and you don't want to take the 1v1 unless you're super confident, and it doesn't look like he wants to. He kind of wants to rely on the pulse bombs for his plays, and he's been delivering throughout this entire tournament. But Craigie definitely forces the issue. Klaus also knows there's Tracer that was forcing the issue. I don't think Soon's used to playing against Tracers that really want to kill him so much, but it's not hindering Rogue at all right now because he is making up for it with those huge pulse bombs.
I mean, also Soon is getting away from those kind of 1v1 situation. We already saw that yesterday when NZNR tried so hard to chase him down. Didn't even get him in the end, but failed to be with his team instead.
He's been a little more focused on going after AKM, though, it seems, and doing a really great job, at least on a Hollywood, of shutting him down, not so much on Nepal.
All right, so now we're looking at map 3. More than likely going to be Horizon. Quick thoughts here, real fast. Flame, do you think that Denmark can take this?
It's doable. I don't know how much they've practiced it, and that's kind of the question mark going into this. How much have you tried? Do you know the map that well? Your composition's a little bit different. They're not running the Sombra as much. I don't expect we'll see it, but it will come down to these big skirmishes, and I do think it's going to be another Craigie versus Soon Tracer battle.
Okay, and what about for you, Zoe? How do you feel about France here?
I just think France did such a great job in shutting down the ults from Team Denmark, and Denmark really has to shake something out of their sleeves, because on a straight dive versus dive battle, I don't think they're going to take it on this map, even though France didn't practice that map very much.
Yeah, it's a tighter map, it's a closer map, but this could create a lot of opportunities for Craggy here to get behind the enemy team and do what he does best.
That's very true. Craggy has been on fire. Definitely a person to look out for. Also, Kelix, we gave him some praise before. You gotta love it when a support goes out there and does the work, man. Adds the much needed DPS, much needed damage. But guys, this is gonna be a good one. Looking forward to seeing what Denmark is gonna pick. But most importantly, can they do it? Can they get their first win in this group? Because so much is on the line. So let's go ahead and send it over to Wolf and Achilleos.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Time to dive into our third map. France, with that 2-0 lead right now, has confirmed himself for the first place spot in Group B. Means that they will be playing against Norway. Still have to figure out who the second seed is going to be, because Denmark still has a bit of a chance. They can't take first place, but they still can take over Thailand's spot. Yeah. Or take that spot from Thailand, I should say. Thailand doesn't have it yet, but they could earn it.
Their victories are going to make it tougher for Thailand, but moving back into this specific 4-map series, we're going to Volsky. You and I are going to get it now for the first time.
Well, we can't get it. We're not in Apex right now, Wolf.
Sure. All right, I'll give you that. Well, we get to, sadly, no getting it, but we are going to Volskaya now, and this is a map that, at least where we're from in Korea, we see a ton of Sombra. It's a Sombra-dominated map, and more so than we've seen from Horizon so far. But with these two teams, we might not even necessarily see it at all. And we saw Lind play it for the first time yesterday. I thought his Sombra was actually surprisingly very decent, even though he's been almost purely on the Zenyatta. So wondering if we'll see that come out from him. I think it's more likely we'll see it from Unko if we do see it at all, but could be a Sombraless game. We'll have to wait and see.
I feel like if you're picking Volskaya, then the Sombra should be what you're looking for. Like you said, I mean, we see so much of it on this map. Attack, defend, it doesn't matter what point it is. It is usually just always there. We'll see what they're going to piece together as we get ready to load up. It's going to be Denmark starting things off on the attack as they get ready to compile their squad here. We'll see what composition they're going to be starting things off with. So far has been very, extremely back and forth. And I mean, maybe this is one of those times where we actually have to have a tiebreaker after Volskaya, after the assault map.
Yeah, after that hybrid map, who knows, man? It just gets so close.
Yeah, maybe we have to go to Oasis or something for a tiebreak. We'll see what happens.
We'll love to
as
see
these
that.
guys do start things off here, coming out the gate. is Denmark with France on the defense.
It is going to be Lind on the Zenyatta, or he was until he just got taken out by Soon. Kellex is going to the second one to fall, and Unko is building up so much ult meter. It will be on that Sombra to start things off, and Krytox is just going to stand in place and die as they reset for the next play here. Unko building up quite a bit, grabs that health pack here, got the 200 first, so a bit greedy, but now has both, and he's going to be looking for that first EMP.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just go ahead, you play that fight, because Denmark just disappeared in a matter of seconds. Wasn't even worth me interjecting. So really nice stuff here for France to start things off. Unco going dangerously low, is able to snap back with that translocator, and Lind is yet again gone down soon. Just finding this Zenyatta over and over again and ripping him to pieces. Nico does fall. A slight little reprieve here for the side of Denmark. As Soon will also go down, so they eliminate the DPS members and start wrapping around to push in onto this point. But that EMP will come through, and the kills are going to start spilling over here for France. Find Nerf, still chasing them back. As you can see them wrapping around the corner, trying to get out safely, but Krytox cannot do so.
Craggy just really bringing the fight, though. He was hacked early on, but no one chased him down. As Flame was saying earlier, it just doesn't feel like Soon ever wants to contest with him, fight him 1v1, and oftentimes he's just kind of left to his own devices. If the rest of the team crumbles, it doesn't matter if he survives, if he's doing, you know, some pea shooter damage alone. He needs the synergy there.
Well, it's because Soon is too busy helping to kill Lind. Yeah. He and Unco just go in, and there's just so much pressure without that Transcendence available that he is just going to die every single time. You can see how long it's taking him now to build up for that ultimate. He's just going to swap over to the Ana, a bit more reliable for him to build up his ultimate, but Soon is still just wreaking havoc, killing supports every time he sees them. We saw a Pulse Bomb come out from Craggy, but all it did was knock AKM out of that mech.
And France has the ult lead now, and I feel like the switch here for Lind sure gives him some extra survivability that Zenyatta just simply doesn't have. Zenyatta can beat a Tracer if you can hit the headshots in those really tense moments, but against Soon, that's very difficult to make happen. So maybe that's going to be the way, but already the hack here with the Dragon Blade coming out from Nico.
Comes through, Nico pushing forward, finds the first kill here from Fisher, doubles down, gets nerfed. Now maybe looking for a little bit more. Krytox was able to find one for himself with his own Dragon Blade, but very much going to be overshadowed here for the performance by Nico. Dashes down, looking for the kill. It goes dangerously low. We'll go ahead and have to peel back here with the assistance of his Lucio to keep him safe, but France right now looking for that full hold. Minute 30 remaining. Not even a tick available for Denmark.
For Krytox, you know, he found a lot of... Oh, hold that thought. We're going to go into this fight right away here. They do have the attack visor available with the sound barrier, but no synergy again with the ult usage.
I mean, the sound barrier are going to be burned out because they have to kite back away from that self-destruct, but they're still coming up with a couple kills here. Unco and Nico both going down, Pulse Bomb knocking AKM out, and he's going to get taken down. Winston Soon falling. And that's pretty much just going to be the team wipe coming through. So Denmark, with a minute and a half remaining, had a couple ultimates. They chained them all together, and they will, by the look of things, get this capped. Seems like France not going to arrive in time, so we'll just be prepping for this point B defense. So 4:55 on the clock here for Denmark. Certainly not the amount of time that they wanted to work with, but still going to be a decent bank. They can go in for a couple eco pushes if need be.
So, I mean, the Dragon Blades have been shut down consistently. Krytox seems to be the weak link right now for Denmark. They swapped even Fisher onto the Genji as a result. He didn't find the Dragon Blade kills, and they need to work on that. They made it happen without the Dragon Blade anyways, but this is going to be another shutdown here on the side of France. But for Denmark, it feels like that last fight was won by Nerfed and the sound barrier alone. But really starting to beg questions about whether you should be running the Genji or maybe bringing the D.Va in instead, putting Krytox on the Soldier. If you can't make those Dragon Blades happen, if you can't hit the support ultimates to protect Krytox or Fisher, if he's the one on the Genji here on the side of Denmark.
Well, Soon kind of gatekeeping here up near the choke. Sunko goes back in. It was a very clean sweep there for France, just buying more time off that clock. Pulse Bomb comes through, but she's going to go straight over onto the wall. Soon not quite having the flick to get that one onto a target. Go taking down Craggy. Yet again, just stomping out this Tracer, targeting him down where they can, and Nox is going to go forward. He's got that Primal Rage. He's going to be smacking everybody around and trying to get some nice daggers here as Krytox will be one of the last ones to fall.
Okay, he has the Dragon Blade, and they will have both support ultimates. No Transcendence, but it can make it the Nano Blade here. And this is kind of what they've been banking their comp on while Craggy harasses. He's down, so they'll probably want to wait a little bit before they go for this next push.
I mean, he chased so far just to try to kill Nox. He had a sliver of HP, but doesn't get it, pays for it with his own life, and that just is more time spent, you know, just wasted there for Denmark.
Sure, and I mean, this is the crux of their push, is this Dragon Blade. If they can knock Nox out of the fight or AKM out of the mech, maybe that's when the attack visor comes out for Fisher, but it's going to be about the Dragon Blade first. And France has just been so good at shutting these down, targeting him down. Nico even chasing down Krytox here. And they have the EMP available. It's going to be the first tool for France. This is going to shut this down, but Denmark didn't use anything.
Yeah, not really a lot of follow-up here from the side of France, so maybe a bit of miscommunication there. The rest of the squad not able to get into a position. I mean, honestly, throwing that one out, that's not going to be the biggest deal here for Unco. Can build up another EMP very swiftly. This does give a slight window of opportunity here for Denmark, who are going to have all 6 ultimates available to push in.
Yeah, see, that's why this is the best opportunity. They have everything, but they also don't have the EMP against them. This is the best opportunity they may ever have right now with the 6 ultimates. Sound barrier first here.
Oh, but it's going to be the pulse pump coming through, and Fisher will fall right as that attack visor gets triggered. Now Krytox for the Dragon Blade, trying to make up for some lost time. Finds a double kill, looking for a little bit more. Gets rid of Soon. Absolutely just devastates the ranks of France, but isn't going to be enough. Nearly have that second tick coming in. 64.1%. Need a bit more to get that, and they have to go through AKM, but it looks like that's not going to happen because Wins arrives. He says, I'll just go ahead, scoop these kills for you guys. They hold on to the second tick. They deny that away.
And again, they shut down Fisher so quickly there. Attack Visor did nothing for them. And this was, like I said, the best opportunity Denmark was ever going to have. No EMP against them. They had the amazing Nano Blade that got so many kills, but they needed more. And already, another EMP can just drop it down. Hits nearly everybody.
Well, this time the rest of France is there to capitalize, as Fisher will be the first target to fall yet again. Lind now going down as Nox takes them out, and it's just going to be the rest of the team desperately trying to kite back towards the spawn. A few of them will escape with their lives, but for the most part, Denmark, their ranks have been shattered. 1:20 seconds remaining, so already 3.5 burned off the clock.
It's just a very defensive setup here for France, using AKM on the D.Va instead of the Soldier, having the extra DPS for Unco to kill those targets. Fisher's always the first one to go down. And Denmark, not with a lot of tools left now anymore because the EMPs kept coming through. And if they can't make something happen before Unco gets his next one, that's probably going to be lights out in the full hold here on the second point.
Well, a big start to that would have been getting Wins, but he's able to trade Craiggie's life right back, and the rest of the squad is falling around the map. Just the 2 kills picked up here for Denmark. Going to lose pretty much everybody on their squad.
And now Unco is going to have that EMP, is going to have that miracle ult here to shut everything down. Not only that, but they're going to have, yeah, basically the big 6, the self-destruct and the Dragon Blade. Sound Barrier not going to be able to pair with that, but they can use it later. They can stagger these ultimates, and Fisher yet again under fire.
Yeah, will stay alive this time around. Has those shots coming through from Lin to keep him topped off, as well as the Biotic Field, so will not die, but 20 seconds remaining on the clock. 66% to go here for the side of Denmark. Can they get it done? They're already being jumped on right here at the choke. Pulse Bomb does take out Unco, but Lind has fallen soon. Down to 6 HP, gets the recall off to keep himself alive and still has that Pulse Bomb. You hear that Dragon Blade being drawn out here from Krytox, looking for a kill, but he's just getting smacked into the wall by the Primal Rage. Winston and soon has found Fisher. Sound Barrier down on the remaining members, but it isn't enough to keep them all alive. Overtime has come through, nerfed falling. No tank here for the side of Denmark as those respawning members desperately try to sprint over to this point to help the remaining squad out to get this capture, but it's just not going to happen by the look of it. Fisher trying to run his way in here. They will be stopped. 64.1%, all that Denmark was able to gain.
And the big question we had going into this was going to be, will there be Sombra? The answer was resoundingly yes. Unco with consistent EMPs coming in, and I feel like when it comes to individual plays, Craggy seems to be the better tracer. He gets in the back line. Soon's not even willing to 1v1 and makes him feel a little bit uncomfortable. When it comes to making big 6 ultimate pushes happen, they couldn't do it on Control on Nepal, and they are certainly not doing it now against the EMPs coming out from France here on this map Volskaya. So a risky pick they chose here. And already some...
He's calling the win. He says this is going to be number 3.
Yeah, looking for the number 3. And I feel like if they couldn't make that push happen with 6 ults and no EMP, will they ever make these pushes happen is the big concern. Lind will be playing the Sombra, and we've seen a lot more Unco Sombra than we have seen from Lind. We saw it pop out at the end there yesterday. We saw also AKM willing to play the D.Va on defense, just protect against Craggy, because if they shut Craggy down, Krytox's Dragon Blades just were not very effective. The ult pushes shut down so many times, and they just know exactly how Denmark is going to do it. It's usually the DPSs that fall first. Fisher on the Soldier, he was killed before the fight started, or they killed Krytox when he came in on the Dragon Blades consistently there. And now as we swap sides, Denmark is going to have to make these EMPs as valuable as they were for Unco.
I feel like that's going to be a bit of a challenge. Lin did show a pretty good Sombra, as we were talking about before, but Unco was pretty much on fire for that defense. Let's see how they're going to fare. It's going to be otherwise pretty close compositions here. The Soldier Tracer coming through for the DPS. Just going to be Unco back over onto that very comfortable Zenyatta for this attack.
Okay, let's see if Lind can make it happen. He showed a decent Sombra yesterday, but Unco much more known for his. They come in for the attack soon. Looking for the flank here, actually.
Goes way over to the high ground. See where he wants to go. He's just going to show himself, spray away at some of these tanks. But perhaps he's going to try to surprise Wins by coming in from behind him. Instead, we'll find Lind, force out that translocation.
We're going to actually approach the left side here. The opposite is what we normally see in Korea here to counter the Sombra play. To take that high ground. Krytox is back on the Soldier. Going to be that swap yet again. I like this play a lot more than having the Genji for him, since he's just been so unsuccessful with the Dragon Blades, but they don't sacrifice the Diva here either.
Nerfed going dangerously low, will be taken down as soon goes forward, finds that kill, and it's going to be a nice opening here for the side of France. Fisher knocked out of the mech as well, so no tanks available for Denmark remaining. Healers are still going to be there doing the damage to keep the rest of the squad alive, but as I say that, Lind and Calyx both going to be falling, and that should just be a very fast cap here for the side of France. We'll have just under 7 minutes remaining on the clock.
No impactful EMPs. That's the big concern for Denmark. Just not a single one coming out from Lind here that made a difference. He has one still. He's held on to it. But when your entire crux of your defense is to use the Sombra, that's the meta. This is your map pick, Volskaya. Then you have to think that this is the way to do it, but he just couldn't make it happen. Now Krytox switches again back to the Genji, wants to make those Dragon Blades happen with a larger area to use those EMPs. And a kind of a wonky pick here for AKM on this Reaper. Gonna see the Talon coming out.
I mean, you say that, but he's already gotten rid of Lind. Just goes ahead and just takes him out as soon as he shows himself out of that invisibility. And that is just going to be a huge amount of kills coming over here for France. Krytox and Lind, the only ones alive at the moment. And Krytox, well, he goes down. See if they can get this contest. Just needs to hit that second tick, and they have it.
There you go.
So
the Talon comp, man, they made it work. Bursting down the Diva.
I mean, it wasn't even the full one, because AKM didn't even get the opportunity to throw out the Death Blossom, which is where it really excels on top of the EMP.
You don't necessarily have to have the EMP to make the Talon comp work, because part of the strength of it too is that you burst down the tanks that are the big time buyers. They had a lot of ults to pair with that too. So they shut the tanks down, burn them down, because that's what Reaper does. And it was more about the Reaper itself more than the combination there with the quote-unquote Talon comp, as we call it. Krytox is going to somehow get the play of the game here, even though most of his Dragon Blades didn't find effect. This was the best one he had, and it still wasn't good enough.
I mean, this was mostly because he was doing all the work while the rest of his squad was dying. So it was a nice flashy play, one that you put in the highlight reel without context for sure. But Rogue, yet again, looking for a 4-0. Currently going to be sitting at 10 points. Can they get the 4-0, or can Denmark pick up a map?
Well, that's going to be the question, and I still don't want to count Denmark out here because of how close the majority of this series was. The control map.
Everything before Volskaya.
Yeah, even though the control was 2-0, it was 99-0 leads for Denmark both times, so just very close to completion, but unable to get it done. And it kind of feels like that's the story for Denmark. They had all the ultimates there, they had the EMP baited, still couldn't make it happen, and it's just really good coordination on the side of France to lock down the DPSs, whether it's Krytox on the Genji or if it's Craggy coming in on the Tracer. They shut that down too. And the Dragon Blades really just didn't find anything. Fisher shut down with his tack visor. There's never a moment besides that one Dragon Blade we saw in the highlight reel where you see Denmark with a 6 ult and say, okay, they got it. They made it work. They got the kills, but not enough of them because the team died. The faster respawns coming in there for Rogue. And
that doesn't work out.
France is looking to close this one out 4-0, and you have to think that with the momentum now shifted in their favor, they'll just continue to do so.
I mean, the big problem here for Denmark is that their fate is leaving their hands if they can't pick up this win. They have to rely on Argentina to take down Thailand for them to maintain that spot as the second seed. And even then, they have to play against China. So it's still a really rough spot to be in. They do want to be advancing as far as humanly possible in this tournament, but the odds are very much stacked against them in both regards. So picking up a win, we'll see what their map choice is going to be as we get ready to go over the final one with the escort. But I mean, every time they have something, Rogue has an answer for it.
I feel like it's time for some attack Bastion, Achilles.
Oh dear.
Route 66 could be the map. We could see it come out again. We've seen it every time we've seen Denmark on attack. Looks like that map is ready. We'll find out where we're headed. Route 66 would be the way if Denmark's going to keep it consistent, and that is where we are headed.
All right, well, Rogue, you know that they have watched those games. Everybody heard how crazy this, yesterday's game with Denmark was. So they've all checked out that attack bastion. Rogue should be ready for it, which means that we would likely see Unco on that Sombra yet again when it comes down to that defense.
It feels like France is just very much consistently ready for everything that we're seeing thrown at them by Denmark here, be it shutting down the ultimates, dealing with the attack there, having the Sombra, knowing that Lin's Sombra was a weak link. They've done their preparation, they've done their research, so you would think they'd be ready for the attack bastion too. I said it sarcastically because, to be honest with you, I'm not really fully sold on it myself, even though it worked really well against some of the weaker teams in the group stage. I don't know if it's going to work against one that's so coordinated with the 6-man roster they've been playing with for now so long.
Yeah.
In Rogue, aka France, the Frog team here.
I know that Flame's not sold on it. He was talking about it last night. He's like, that should never work.
And, one of the weaknesses of it is when you get the EMP off, you shut it down. Again, we don't know if we're necessarily going to see it, but you get the EMP off, you shut it down. It worked yesterday because they couldn't get the EMP to deny it. But we saw such a good Sombra play already out of Unco today. Don't expect to see it. We'll be France for the defense first, but look at, here it is.
Oh boy, all right, so this should be anticipated.
Can they get the EMP off? He's already on the Sombra, Unco is. It's actually, no, it's Nico on it.
Yeah, they're going to be changing things up here a little bit. They do want that Zenyatta available, so Nico over onto the Sombra. See how much work he can get done. Right now, postured up onto this payload yet again. Biotic grenade comes down, topping everybody off.
Yep.
As they keep trying to get this push.
AKM also trying to use that defense matrix, but look, this is not the wipe that we saw yesterday with the attack fashion. A lot of that damage completely shut down by AKM. It's going to step off the payload, wants to get a trickier position here to try to catch Soon or Nox. But no heals here. He does survive, but he's not getting kills, not at all.
Almost found Unco. He goes dangerously low. We see that.
There's the EMP.
It's going to be the EMP coming through here from Nico, but it's going to be Nox, the first one that falls down. But Nico and Soon are able to trade up. They get rid of Craggy. They get rid of Nerfed. And without that Reinhardt, his comp does not function, so they will go ahead and have to kite back. Nico going in, looking for yet another EMP.
They're not willing to switch either. They're going to stick with this. They're close to configuration tank, but look at all this farmed EMP charge for Nico. Already halfway to a second one. And it's going to be difficult for Craggy to even get back to the payload with all the harass coming down on the side of France. So he is going to eventually get there, but the second EMP is just going to shut this down again, and it's tracks, you have to imagine.
Nox right now, the bubble does go dangerously low, and Craggy has that tank configuration ready to go. That's going to be the nano boost coming through. Can he get the shots in? He's looking for Unco. Doesn't have it. The defense matrix is sticking on top of him, denying all of these shots to come through. Has finally got one in here onto Wins as that Earth Shatter comes down, firing away yet again, trying to burn out Unco. Will find him now, looking for Nox, but everybody just sticking right on top of him, just trying to take him down. But he's staying alive. Finally will fall. It takes an angry monkey and the Diva in the mech to burn right through him. They get Fisher out as well. Nox will be able to finish off Krytox. And I mean, Denmark, they use a configuration tank. Do they change things up
like
coming back in? They will. In
Yeah.
fact, as the Tracer is there now for Craggy. So they didn't get that far.
You know the saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But in this case, it was certainly broken.
That
shut down
was busted.
Yeah, shut down by the defense matrix, the Transcendence, the EMP. And so it's going to be going back to something more familiar now for Denmark on other maps. Not so familiar for this one, I suppose.
Now barrier out here for Denmark as they try to push in. Still do have that self-destruct ready to go. Looks like not going to be thrown out yet. Craggy dashing around, zips his way into the cavern, just trying to finish off Nox. Will be able to do so, but has lost several members of his team. Lin and Krytox both going down. They knock AKM out. They do finish him off. They get Soon as well. So this does alleviate a lot of pressure and allows that payload to start moving up a bit further.
Remember, both of these teams showed their expertise on escorts, specifically on Hollywood, getting it all the way for the full completion there with the overtime. So Denmark definitely showing their expertise yet again here, dealing with the aggressive dive in from France, and they're now looking to grab this checkpoint. Nico does have the EMP, but Soon's already down, so no flanking potential, and no other ultimates to pair with that EMP. This is going to be a struggle.
Yeah, it does get dropped in here, but Unco falls off right off the bat, rather. Lin's still alive, keeping himself safe as Nico pushes back in, looking for a couple kills. The damage not going to be great enough, has to jump back there. with the translocator, keep himself alive. In the meantime, AKM's gonna get popped out of the mech, will go down, as does Wins. Pulse Bomb comes through, Lin will get taken out in the back line, but is that gonna be enough? Tac Visor comes through, they will get rid of soon. That will be the completion here, with 25 seconds remaining on the clock, so Denmark are able to push through to point A.
You have to wonder now if maybe it's time to switch back to the Genji, and in fact Nico will, because this is a tougher point to get value out of the health packs. The Sombra idea here mostly for France was to counter the Bastion, and losing Nico's Genji is a big trade-off, so they are going to swap that in. So I like this a lot more. Fortunately, they used that Sound Barrier for the last fight, so that's not going to be available, but he has time to build that and the Dragon Blade. But I think this is a very intelligent switch on the side of France, and they still burn down a lot of the time bank. The pushes from Denmark we saw with the attack Bastions usually granted them a lot more time bank than this.
Yeah, I'm kind of like nervously getting excited here for if we happen to somehow have a repeat of that Hollywood map. You can see the Transcendence being pushed forward here from the side of Unco. Will be countered by Lin as they all stay alive. No one exchanging blows yet. Just a bit of back and forth as the Sound Barrier does come down here for Denmark. It's going to be Wins and Unco, the first two to fall in this fight. A fight that they began. Now AKM knocked out of the mech, firing away as best as he can in his pilot form, but he's going to get taken down. Nico as well falls off, and that is going to be Denmark maintaining this push on this payload.
You could tell AKM was considering dropping that self-destruct with the kind of weird boosters he used there, but he decided to hold on to it. Doesn't want to make the switch over to Soldier just yet, wants to try to use that to deny the checkpoint. So admiring his patience here. You almost feel the frustration. He wants to play the Soldier, but he's going to hang on to that Diva, hold on to that self-destruct for a better opportunity.
Pulse Bomb from Craggy, not going to find anything, and Nerf is going to go ahead, pop out that Primal Rage, trying to keep himself alive. But in the meantime, Wins has gotten rid of one of the enemy supports as Lind goes down. Nerf going forward, trying to do just that, trying to kill some of these supports, and will be able to do so. As Unco falls, and they go ahead and they pick up Nico as well. So pretty good stuff here for Denmark as they try to maintain this push. Nerf going dangerously low though, and can't get into a position really for the heal, so he's just going to get surrounded and will fall. A minute now remaining for Denmark on the push, just a little bit shy of point B at the moment.
Yeah, AKM holding onto that mech was so important too, even though he didn't get the really crazy self-destruct kills or anything like that. He has the mech remade and is healed up. That bought so much time, so they didn't really have to use very many ults here. Now we're going to have the Transcendence and the Dragon Blade available with Sound Barriers, so this could be a very strong hold here for France. Here comes the self-destruct defensively though for Denmark.
It gets tossed out, but not going to find anything in the meantime. Nico draws out that Dragon Blade, cuts down Fisher in the Baby Diva form, now looking for a little bit more, has to go inside, get away from Nerf, wants to stay safe, wants to be here for the rest of this fight. The Transcendence will come through, not in time to save Win's life, but perhaps to keep France in this fight so they can finish off Denmark right here, right now. Sound Barrier out here from Calyx, only finds two. He goes down. Craggy looking to follow suit very swiftly, will be taken out. Denmark needs desperately to get back over to this payload, have several members on the way, one of them being Fisher. Should be able to get the tag to force in the overtime, but can they make it to B is going to be the question.
That's going to be the big question here. Here comes the remech now, already for AKM.
They pop Fisher out of the mech, soon goes down, but so does Nico, so Denmark able to get rid of those DPS members here from the side of France. Wins getting rid of the Baby Diva, looking for a bit more as AKM gets popped out. Pulse Bomb in on the Nox, and Denmark might just be doing it. It's going to be Unco, the only one that can realistically tag this, will be chopped down as Krytox dashes through, and that is going to be a completion here on point B, and I'm having deja vu, Wolf.
Starts to feel like we might see that full completion here, but only a minute and a half now. AKM still wants to stick with the Diva here. Not going to be used. Oh, as soon as I say that, he does switch. Goes say a bit surprised, doesn't want to use the high ground Soldier. Doesn't have a lot of self-destruct charge, so might not even have it for the contest here, for that final checkpoint, for the completion. As Krytox is just looking for a farm here on the Dragon Blade. They do have that Transcend, so he can try to pop it once he does have it.
Wrap around from the backside there, in comes Nox, Pulse Bomb finds Lin, knocks Fisher out of that mech, and he'll be finished off here by Nico, who's just gonna pick up that quick little double kill. Craggy able to get soon as he tries to exit here with his life. Actually comes up with a triple. Nico and Unco both going down. Craggy is carrying so much weight here for his squad, but he does die in the end. AKM does cut him down,
and
but
Calyx just got so much ult charge from that too, because everyone was so low, especially Nerf. So now he almost has a Sound Barrier. They nearly have the big 6 to complete this. 35 seconds and a long, long push they need, but they're going to have so many tools, more than France will have. About to have that Sound Barrier though is France. Here comes Unco, the Transcendence on both sides.
Double Transcendence here, as you say. Nico drawing out the Dragon Blade, not really going to be able to find anything. Gets left on. Wins has gone down to that Pulse Bomb, and AKM falling as well. Unco able to answer one kill onto Craggy, but he gets chopped out as Krytox just dashes his way to multiple kills, looking for a little bit more here. As soon dashes around, will get chopped out here as Nerf zaps him to death, and now the payload moving in a couple more meters to go. And Point C is looking like a pretty realistic goal here for the side of Denmark. Still several ultimates in their bank at the moment. Leap forward coming through from Nox, has the Primal Rage to try to buy some time. It's going to be double sound barrier, but France has already lost members, and it's looking like they're going to lose more. AKM chopped out here by Krytox, now chasing in, looking for Nico, who has a Discord orb on him. Won't be able to find the kill, at least at the moment, but France has lost both of their supports. Fischer finishing off wins is a massive opening here for the Danish squad to complete this push. So dangerously close to having this one. Pulse bomb in, takes out AKM. Can they get it now? Soon with the recall. Keeps himself alive at least for the moment, but he doesn't have any more dashes, and wins is pushed off the payload. Unco doesn't even get a chance to touch it, and Denmark will get the completion yet again.
Krytox carried that without the Dragon Blade. He got so many dashes, and it doesn't feel like France took him seriously there. Did it with the first support ultimate coming in, saved the Dragon Blade for the later fights. Denmark had the confidence to know, hold on to that Dragon Blade, because we're going to go swinging in to close it out at the end. And soon, unfortunately, just unsuccessful there to try to find those picks in the back line. He was picked off by Craggy, who made a great start with the Bastion there, but it wasn't the attack Bastion that led Denmark to victory. What's more impressive is with such a weak time bank, they were still able to make this work. See if they actually want to run the Sombra now on the defense, because it's still strong here, but it's not going to be the counter to Bastion on the side of France. That's not going to come out. Looks like they just want to use it for some EMPs to attempt the full hold here.
Yeah.
And the big
Bastion
question is
definitely not going to be in France's wheelhouse.
No. And let's see what Nico wants to run. If it's going to be, he wants to flex over to the Diva here to shut down the Kragi aggression, or if is it going to just be he runs the Genji because he wants to get the dive there, get the picks on the back line, try to dive onto Big Earls, get the support kills. That's the big question mark here, as he is holding it right now. It's not locked in either hero.
Try our world famous Monte Cristo.
Yes.
He'll be in the next series.
He'll be in the next series for sure.
We'll try him out. We'll see how he is. We'll give it a go.
Yeah. If you've never watched him before, you probably a pleasant surprise.
He's got some good reviews.
He's pretty decent. I think he's all right, you know. So it is going to be the Genji. At least that's what he locks in here before the gates open. France the big fan favorite, and definitely the favorite going into this in terms of results. This is a six-man roster, six-man team. They've already secured their first place spot, but they want to close it out just as China did with the 4-0.
Well, Nico here with the Hanzo throwing out the Sonic Arrow. Doesn't seem like he spotted anything here. Denmark playing back around the corner. We'll see that there is no Bastion on defense at least, so they can breathe easy in that regard, but Krytox be identified here with that Sombra as he starts building up for that EMP. For now, slow and steady, no real commitment from either side as they just try to round this corner.
Soon just playing very defensively right now, not going to try to go for any aggressive dives.
Ooh, Nico going dangerously low, had that Discord orb on him, managed to get behind the bubble to keep himself alive. They will trade nerfed for Nox. But those Winston's going to be falling at the moment. You can see Craggy just trying to wreak as much havoc as he possibly can, but AKM here sitting on top of the payload, able to get rid of that Tracer, helps take down that Diva mech as well, and Unco's going to be the one coming up with a double kill, gets rid of Fischer and the Baby Diva form, and gets rid of that enemy Zenyatta as well. Payload going to be moving very swiftly here to start things off for France.
Now they are going to have the EMP, but France is just winning this vanilla. They're taking the much more defensive fights, punishing the fact that Nerf and Kragi want to dive in so deep. And they just sit back, take the kills where they can on the payload, and they have a fast time as a result. We're going to see that EMP come down here, looking to stop the Transcends. He is successful in doing so.
Doesn't have Unco though, doesn't get the shield, rid of the shield, but still is able to finish him off.
He didn't have Transcendence anyways, but that was the game plan there, removing it. This is going to be the shutdown of the initial push here for France.
I mean, that could have been a major botch had they not finished off Unco, but this will allow Denmark to go ahead. Clean up a couple of these kills here. And this looks like Nox, yep, off screen will be taken down. Craggy chasing pretty far forward. Will lose his life for that one. The Helix Rockets. Thank you, Killfeed, for telling us the story that happened off
Telling the
screen.
true stories, the Killfeed. Good guy, Killfeed. No fakies. Well, France is about to have the big six, and Unco didn't have the Transcendence in that last fight. He did perish, but he's going to have it here. Going to be tough for Denmark to build up that EMP to stop the checkpoint.
Well, that's going to be a nice little time buy here for the side of Denmark. The pulse bomb comes through, and AKM goes down as well. Craggy just chasing in. He has just been wreaking havoc on the members of France, and they'll lose Nox as well, so just buying more and more time.
Getting a lot of picks with no resources spent is Denmark, and this is very valuable time they're buying because France has that big push. They didn't use anything there, so they still have another one. But neither did Denmark, so Denmark's actually about to have 6v6 in terms of ultimates because they did this so efficiently.
But this is the problem. Craggy does sometimes over-pursue. We saw it just on his last death, has it there again. Soon in the meantime, trying to get rid of Lind, almost does so, but this is going to be the kite back. They have to wait for that heal to come in, and soon it's actually just going to blow himself up. Does go down now. Self-destruct tossed out here by Fisher, trying to zone everybody back. Sound barrier out from both sides. The EMP will just go ahead and get rid of all of the shielding for France. Unco, the only one untouched by that EMP. Now we hear the Dragon Blade drawn out by Nico. Needs to do some serious heavy lifting if they're going to complete this push. Will knock Fisher out of the mech. And that might just about do it. Cannot contest any further, and Nerfed is dead. So it seems like France might have just done it here for themselves. Pulse Bomb does take care of wins. It's really just Kellex trying to buy time here for the rest of the squad.
Survives. Does finally get taken out there. Bit trigger happy was France, to be honest. Not a whole lot of ults left for them now.
I mean, this still is not really moving. They finally finished off Craggy and Krytox, but you see just a little last-ditch effort there from Lind to buy a little bit more time off the clock.
Very risky what France just did, though. Instead of backing off to use all their ultimates together, they actually kind of disjointed them after Denmark used a few of the sound barriers there, or used the sound barrier, a few of their own ultimates. Sound barrier was the first one on the side of Denmark. France does make this happen, though. Denmark wanted to get the full hold, but they still deny France, nearly going into overtime there for the first checkpoint. And now we've kind of reset everything pretty even. We do the switch away from the Sombra now. For Denmark as well. We're going to stick with their more 2-2-2-esque dive. Fisher remains on the D.Va.
Soon, maybe looking for a target here for this Pulse Bomb. Forced out on the recall. Doesn't gain too much HP back, but will stay safe for the moment. In the meantime, the rest of the squad coming up with a couple kills there as Fisher and Krytox will both be taken out. The payload going to be moving on pretty steadily at the moment.
And soon actually getting that solo kill into Craggy, a rare sight. He's been mostly avoiding those 1v1s, but did get it there. Builds up the Pulse Bomb. They have Nico's Dragon Blade with Transcendence, but not the Sound Barrier. We'll see if they want to save that Transcendence for Krytox's Dragon Blade when it comes out here. It's going to be the dive in already. Nox coming over to look for the support back line.
Wind's getting jumped on. AKM's going to be the first one to fall on the side of France. They are able to answer for the enemy Genji. Nox sleeping his way up over onto that high ground. Will keep himself safe for the moment, but Nico has been taken out in the sound barrier used here by the Danish squad. Nox dropping down, drops the bubble, goes dangerously low, doesn't quite have the primal rage, and not sure if he would have wanted to use it anyway. Had it been available, we'll go ahead and go down, and now the chase forward here from the Danish squad. We'll just find a lot of kills and some pretty heavy stagger for France to deal with.
Nico switching off of the Genji after using that Dragon Blade. Doesn't want to try to force that to happen anymore because he doesn't have the Transcendence anymore. Wants to use the self-destruct to secure this checkpoint. With only 80 seconds left, it feels like perhaps continuing to use that would be a bit gimmicky. Also knowing that Denmark has the Transcendence and they're going to be holding on to that. Denmark with an ultimate lead here, especially because of that swap over to the D.Va. Worried a little bit for France now with only 70 seconds left. Comes that self-destruct.
Thrown out. Yeah, Fisher throwing this one in. Not going to be finding anything. They push forward, though, with the Transcendence. They're still coming up with the kills. Unco and AKM both going down, and Wind's just jumping off the map to go ahead and abandon that one. Once the reset, but they're running out of time. 55 seconds. All that is left on the clock. And actually, just now, Nico gets popped out of the mech. Rocky comes up with that Pulse Bomb.
That's actually huge. That's a lot of time bought.
Massive time buy.
Massive, massive.
He's got to run all the way back to the spawn, you'd have to think, and then he's got to swap off, swap back onto the D.Va, so he loses all of that ult percentage that he had built up for himself.
It's already back here now. But France is going to have to make this push work. They're now kind of limited to this last final one. If they mess this up, then it's over. Denmark's going to take it. They have to make this happen now. Going to be the Sound Barrier to lead off.
When it comes down to payloads, it's been working out for both of these teams rather well so far. Sound Barrier down here for France. Trade in onto Lind, but they do lose out on Unco. Pulse Bomb goes through onto Nerf. Takes him rather low. Has a primal rage to stay alive for a little bit longer. Still has not died. And actually trades up a kill here onto AKM as they desperately try to delay this push to just stop it right here into overtime. As we get ready to enter that, Krytox with the Dragon Blade finds the swipe in onto Soon, takes Nico right out of the mech, should be able to finish him off, and it's just the rest of the squad desperately trying to get over here to tag in onto the payload, are able to do so as Nox rejoins the fight. The rest of the team not going to be that lucky. Nox does get finished off as Fisher comes up with a kill. Attack visor out here from AKM, gets rid of one, goes dangerously low, stays alive, looks for Lind. Can he get the kill?
Finally!
Gets it with the melee hit, but Craggy is there to pick up the pieces, takes him down, but he's traded back very swiftly by Nico in the Baby D.Va form, and they have this running. He makes it back into the back.
I was really worried there for France when they lost Soon. He's been really a great defensive tool for France here when they are defending the dive that's coming in. And the pushes continue. It feels like we might be going towards another overtime round here, Achilles, this time on Escort. But France using Soon defensively. I like how he's altered his playstyle here a little bit. Not going to be chasing down Craggy, just wants to defend the backline when Craggy comes in to shut him down. He's beginning those 1v1s with the rest of his team a lot more consistently.
Oh, here we go. Fisher going to get knocked out, has to self-destruct, doesn't throw it, however. Just going to get killed eventually. Lasted quite a long time, and it's many a kill spilling over here for France.
Denmark needs to be careful not to spill these over if they want to stop this completion. This is why France was able to get that overtime win on Hollywood, just because they kept feeding in one by one, staggering those respawns. France has so many tools now. Nico finally is going to have that self-destruct. Took him ages to build it. Finally, the D.Va swap is going to make a lot more sense, helping protect against Craggy. And here comes the Transcendence to lead off.
They're going to be pushing in here, looking for the fight, but they're not going that far forward, is France, so they're not really gaining anything for this one. Pulse bump down onto Nerf, not quite gonna kill him, and he gets top back up, but Craggy will fall. AKM finding the kill, self-destruct's thrown out, will find Fisher. Nico coming up with the pick, but can they get more? France so very close to completing this one with 10 seconds remaining. Primal Rage thrown out here by Nox, just trying to smack everybody away from the payload so they can get this pushing forward, but Kelix and Craggy are there to delay as best as they possibly can. Now the rejoin coming through here from Denmark. Krytox with the Dragon Blade, looking for more kills, but he gets taken down. Nox finds that kill with the leap in. Craggy, Kelix, and Fisher yet again, the ones just dancing around on the payload, trying to keep this one in contention, and now we are into overtime. Can they get the tag? It doesn't seem like it, and Denmark are able to hold. They're able to take a map off of France and better their chances of moving forward into the playoffs.
Every single time we saw the Krytox Dragon Blades in the situations that mattered most, they didn't work out. The shutdowns were there every time. Sometimes by Soon, sometimes by Nico, killing him there in the Dragon Blade. That last one, the one that mattered most on the final map, is the one that wins it for them. We're going to take a look, of course, at our play of the game. It will be Kelix here, who was an incredible Lucio, feared in Europe. Not going to watch that play of the game, but anyways, that was the move there, was finally Krytox because the Dragon Blade. Rogue over committing there for the French team with all those ultimates too early. The long run back there. I like the way Soon played defensively. I like the way they dealt with Craggy throughout the series. I think that's why they take the 3-1 victory. But Denmark's at least able to come back with one map there in the final set.
So that's going to be Denmark advancing their score to, I believe, 6 at the end here of the group stage for themselves. Thailand just a little bit further behind them with 3 points. So this is going to be a photo finish depending on how Argentina can hold up against the Thai squad. Lots of pressure on them as they get ready to take the stage for their final match. We're going to go over to a break. When we come back, we'll have the desk break down those final 2 maps because they were a bit crazy, so good luck to them.
The 2017 Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by Omen by HP, T-Mobile, Union Pay, and Blizzard Entertainment.